Chapter 1650. He indeed had such confidence. This was because the blue-clothed girl in front of him was not a direct disciple. The 15 or 16-year-old boy was just a new direct disciple. The two of them together were no match for him. The girl in blue's expression changed. He did not rob them of their jade pendants, but of their storage rings. This reminded her of a recent legend. Could it be that you are the mysterious Demon King madman? The girl in blue frowned. She had heard that there was a Demon King madman who specialized in robbing people of their storage rings. She did not expect to meet him. Humph, what nonsense are you talking about? I am not a Demon King madman. Su Ziting quickly denied. Although he wanted to rob others, he did not dare to use the name of the Demon King madman. This was because the Demon King madman had attacked the disciples of the three sects, and it was a large-scale attack. I am afraid that the disciples of the three sects want to kill him now. If he admitted that he was the Demon King madman now, those martial artists would not let him go. Therefore, no matter how arrogant he was, he did not dare to admit it. You are not. The girl in blue was stunned. She did not expect him to shake his head so decisively. On the other hand, Hong Yu sneered, "Senior sister, of course he is not. I think he must have been robbed by the Demon King madman and lost his storage ring. That is why he wants to attack us. I said it, didn't I? I did not expect the direct disciples of the Purple Sun sect to be so useless. You are courting death." Su Ziting was furious when he heard the other party's mockery. This was originally his sore spot, but he did not expect it to be exposed at this moment. With a roar, he activated the Devil Vine domain and quickly charged towards Hongyu and the girl. In the sky, Su Ziting controlled the Devil Vine domain and appeared in the void. In an instant, it enveloped Hongyu and the girl in blue. In an instant, countless demonic vines in the surroundings started to roll rapidly, forming numerous sharp attacks that shot towards the two of them. As a direct disciple of the Purple Sun sect, Su Ziting's strength was very terrifying. This strike had an extremely shocking momentum. Humph! Hong Yu snorted, and a golden light burst out from his eyes. He grasped the red spear with both hands and quickly thrust it forward. Every strike was like a blood-red bolt of lightning that streaked across the void. Every spear strike successfully pierced through a patch of demonic vines. In an instant, the sky was filled with red spear lights. It was like 10,000 bolts of lightning, extremely dazzling. As for the surrounding demonic tendrils, they simply couldn't get close. No matter how sharp they were all shattered by the red spear light. On the other side, the woman in blue also unleashed a Blue King's domain. Suddenly, an endless amount of seawater appeared behind her, forming a powerful defense. What? How is that possible? Su Ziting's expression was gloomy because Hong Yu's spear technique was too shocking. His opponent's every attack landed on the weak points of his attacks. It could be said that he had used the easiest method to break through his attack. This was too shocking. As a 5-star king, he was extremely powerful, and it was rare for him to meet a match within the same cultivation level. But now his opponent was able to easily break through his attack. Even the Red Phoenix, Ding Peng, and the rest of the 3 great prodigies did not have this kind of ability. Damn it, it's his eye technique. Su Ziting gritted his teeth. He realized that Hong Yu's eyes were emitting a faint golden light. There were mysterious runes shining around them. Obviously, this was a powerful eye technique that he did not know about. It was also this eye technique that saw through his attack. Eye technique? Then I'll make you unable to see it. Demonic vine flower. Su Ziting roared. Immediately, the surrounding demonic vines rolled and intertwined with each other. Then, on the huge branch, a beautiful flower quickly bloomed. The flower was very small, but it quickly grew bigger. It was like a huge red mountain that appeared in the void. It had 5 petals, each of which was bright red and glistening. At this moment, a red mist bloomed from those petals. It was highly toxic and quickly covered the entire domain. Not good. Junior brother Hong, be careful, the woman in blue exclaimed and quickly activated her ocean domain. Immediately, merciless seawater gushed out and surrounded her. Sizzle, sizzle. When the red, poisonous gas touched the seawater, it emitted the sound of ice melting. The seawater around the woman in blue also rapidly decreased at a speed visible to the naked eye. There was nothing that could be done about it. That blue-clothed woman was not a direct disciple. Compared to Sue's eating, she was much weaker. Therefore, she could not hold on at all. Fortunately, Hongyu was there. He stabbed out with his spear and pierced through the red, poisonous gas, forming a huge black hole. At the same time, he used his king's domain to envelop the woman in blue. A faint golden king's domain appeared. It fought against the red mist. However, the red mist grew more and more. In the end, it filled the entire space. For a moment, no one could see anything with the naked eye. Only the sound of merciless collisions could be heard. Ha ha ha! Kid, let's see how you're going to fight this time. In the distance, Su Ziting laughed arrogantly. Then he waved his arm, and countless demonic vines quickly attacked. They were like green divine swords that were extremely sharp. Humph, how ignorant. Do you think my eye technique is that simple? Hongyu sneered disdainfully. The faint golden light in his eyes became stronger. The golden light spun quickly and formed a golden tadpole. At the same time, an incomparably mysterious rune appeared in his eyes. Then, a hint of disdain appeared at the corner of Hongyu's mouth. He clenched the long spear in his hand and stabbed it out. The long spear was like a dragon. It instantly pierced through the void and directly shattered the red demonic flower in the sky. Bang! The red demonic flower was shattered into pieces, and the surrounding red poisonous gas also quickly disappeared in an instant. Not only that, the Golden King's domain released countless rays of light that were like golden sharp swords. They slashed in all directions and quickly destroyed Su Ziting's attack. What? I can still see it. Damn it, what kind of eye technique is this? Su Ziting was shocked. He did not expect his opponent's eyes to be so strange. One had to know that the red poisonous gas was not an ordinary poisonous gas. It had a mysterious power that even soul power could not detect. However, his opponent's eyes could clearly capture his position, which made him feel incredulous, especially when he made contact with his opponent's eyes. He felt his soul shake as if it was about to be sucked in. This made him even more terrified. Damn it, what a strange kid. Su Ziting was going crazy. He had just lost to a mysterious madman, and now he could not even defeat a 15-year-old boy. This was unbearable. Chapter 1651. Su Ziting was driven mad in his heart. He had just been defeated at the hands of a mysterious madman. Now he could not even beat a 15 or 16-year-old youth. This made him unable to bear it. However, those golden eyes were simply too terrifying. It made his heart palpitate with fear. If they continued fighting, he might be defeated. Therefore, he did not dare to fight at all. Waving his hand, the devil vine domain rapidly shrank, enveloping him in the end. Brat, consider yourself lucky this time. Next time, you won't be so lucky. Su Ziting's shoes carried the devil vine domain, turning into a ray of green light, instantly rushing into the distance. Humph, consider yourself running fast. Hong, you also snorted coldly, withdrawing the golden domain. At the same time, the mysterious runes in his eyes also gradually disappeared. On the other side, the girl in blue completely heaved a sigh of relief. Actually, she was very surprised. Although she knew that Hongyu had special ocular arts, she did not expect that he could defeat the other party so easily. After all, the other party was the Purple Sun sect, ranked 6th personal disciple. His strength was incomparably terrifying. Therefore, this made her feel like she was dreaming. While on the other side, Lin Xian was on the road again. This time, he robbed a few personal disciples again, obtaining rich battle results. However, it caused a terrifying sensation. For a moment, the news of personal disciples being robbed rapidly spread in the forest. After everyone learned about it, they were extremely shocked. It can't be right? Even personal disciples were robbed? Damn it, how is this possible? Who in the world is it to actually be so terrifying? Personal disciples are all 5-star kings, right? Who in the world is it to be so powerful? Don't know. I heard that person did not just make a move against one sect. The personal disciples of the 3 great sects were all robbed. Damn, who in the world is it? Too ferocious. Really want to meet him. No matter who it is, he's dead for sure this time. Indeed, right now, the personal disciples of the 3 great sects are all on the move, frantically searching for that person. Not just personal disciples. I heard that Dan Feng, Ding Peng, and Xiao Cheng, the 3 great geniuses, are also on the move. What? Even those 3 people are on the move too? Everyone was shocked, discussing animatedly. No choice, this matter was seriously too shocking. They never thought that a powerhouse would actually appear out of nowhere, making a move against the genius disciples of the 3 great sections. This was an attempt to humiliate the 3 great sects. If this matter were to spread out, it would definitely cause the 3 great sects to lose face. Those personal disciples were indeed on the move. They were frantically searching for the entire New Forest. Even Dan Feng and the other 2 were searching for him. However, none of them managed to find it. Lin Xian hid his identity when he took action, so no one knew that it was Lin Xian who did it. Moreover, Lin Xian's soul force was extremely powerful. He was able to evade everyone's probing, and he was able to specifically target personal disciples who were alone. There's a duo! In the forest, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Seeing that there were only 2 people around, he prepared to make his move. His entire body was like a shooting star rushing forward at high speed. His incredible speed tore through the void as he charged forward with unparalleled power. The 2 warriors in front of him suddenly stopped, turned around, and shouted coldly, "Who is it? Courting death." However, the only thing that answered them was a violent fist. Annihilation Black Dragon Fist. An incomparably pitch-black enormous fist was like a flood dragon. It was brilliant and overbearing as it quickly blasted forward. Boom! Quickly retreat. Among them, the white-clothed woman's figure was like lightning as she quickly retreated into the distance. As for the other person, he stood in place and did not move at all. After one strike, the ground caved in and wounds were everywhere. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows because he discovered that the black-robed man did not receive any injuries at all. A little interesting. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and sized up the other party, curiously. It was a black-robed youth. His face was handsome, but his eyes carried a trace of coldness. In the distance was a white-clothed woman with a beautiful face. They were the mysterious brother and sister pair. "Who are you? You actually dare to attack us, brother and sister?" The black-robed man's voice was cold as he looked at Lin Xian. At the side, the white-clothed woman also sized up curiously. She didn't expect that someone would actually have the guts to attack the brother and sister pair. One had to know that their king's domain was very special. Other than Ding Peng and the other 2 geniuses, the other direct disciples did not dare to fight with them. But now, someone actually dared to attack them. It was really surprising. "Are you very famous?" Lin Xian was puzzled. Then he said indifferently, "Hand over your storage rings, and I'll let you leave safely." "What? Hand over our storage rings?" The brother and sister pair were stunned, then laughed wildly. "You're the Demon King madman that's been rumored recently, right? I didn't expect that you would dare to attack us. Hee, we were just about to look for you. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come here. Kid, you're very arrogant. How dare you rob the disciples of the Purple Sun sect? Today, I'll let you know the consequences of offending the Purple Sun sect." The mysterious brother and sister pair laughed coldly. However, Lin Xian shook his head slightly. The azure dragon mask on his face flashed with a cold light. I advise you not to be arrogant. The direct disciples that I met before were as arrogant as you, but in the end they all lost. So, you should obediently hand over your storage rings. That way, you can avoid some physical pain. Kid, you're too arrogant. We're different from those direct disciples. What's the difference? Lin Xian did not think much of it. You dare to look down on us? You're asking for death. The lady in white snorted coldly, her eyes filled with murderous intent. The black-robed man was even more arrogant. Kid, today I'll end you. As he spoke, a terrifying aura surged from the black-robed man's body. Like a demon king, he looked down on everyone. In the next moment, he charged towards Lin Xian like a bolt of lightning. Purple Sun Fist. The black-robed man roared. Terrifying energy surged from his body, and a purple fist quickly punched out. Instantly, purple light covered the sky and attacked like a tsunami. The void was like a painting, constantly trembling as if it would crack open at any moment. The purple fist was like a purple sun, extremely dazzling and terrifying. Good timing, Lin Xian roared. Black Dragon Fist of the Apocalypse. He was currently practicing the Black Dragon Fist of the Apocalypse. Naturally, he was not afraid of fighting. Plus, the stronger his opponent was, the happier he was. He waved his fists. The sky was filled with flashing black fist shadows, forming a divine light. The intertwining black dragon shadows quickly rushed forward. Boom! The two collided and a huge explosion occurred. However, the black-robed man was very strange. His body seemed to have turned into nothingness. He directly passed through the violent energy and charged towards Lin Xian. Chapter 1652. However, the black-robed man was very strange. His body seemed to have turned into nothingness as he passed through the violent energy and charged towards Lin Xian. What's going on? Lin Xian was surprised when he saw the black-robed man appear beside him in an instant. However, he still threw out a punch subconsciously. Boom! This punch was very violent. If it landed on the black-robed man, even a 5-star king would not be able to withstand it. However, the black-robed man was not affected at all. In fact, Lin Xian felt as if his punch had landed on air. The black-robed man's body was completely illusory. An afterimage? Lin Xian frowned. However, the black-robed man revealed a sinister look. He raised his palm again and threw out another punch. Suddenly, the void trembled. The purple fist was like a purple sun. It was filled with intense energy as it blasted towards Lin Xian. It's not an afterimage. Lin Xian was shocked. His pupils constricted. If it was an afterimage, it would not have been possible to attack. Moreover, the black-robed man's fist was too powerful. He could only quickly put up a defense. Azure Dragon Divine Shield. Behind him, the dragon sword realm shone brightly. Countless sword chi intertwined and formed a huge azure dragon shield in front of him. Boom! An earth-shattering sound was heard. A terrifying shockwave exploded. This punch directly pushed Lin Xian back. However, the Azure Dragon Divine Shield was extremely powerful. It absorbed most of the power, so Lin Xian did not suffer any injuries. However, the black-robed man charged towards him again. Lin Xian used the apocalyptic Black Dragon fist to fight with him. However, no matter how terrifying his fist was, it did not cause any damage to the black-robed man's body. The black-robed man seemed to be illusory and transparent. It's useless. You can't hit me at all. The black-robed man laughed maniacally. He waved his fists and pushed Lin Xian back again. Kid, it's useless no matter how strong you are. You can only lose in front of us. You want to rob us with your little strength? You two are ridiculous. Today is the day you die." The woman in white also laughed and quickly charged towards Lin Xian. She pulled out a thin red sword and quickly slashed forward. The red sword light soared into the sky, shaking the heavens and the earth. The entire void shook as the resplendent sword light soared into the sky. Lin Xian, on the other hand, brandished his fists and unleashed 2 black dragons, which quickly rushed out to resist the red sword chi that filled the sky. However, something strange happened again. The white-clothed woman was also extremely strange. His body suddenly became transparent, as if he were air. He ignored the black dragon's attack and quickly charged towards Lin Xian. Her entire body and the long sword in her hand turned into a dazzling bolt of lightning, quickly thrusting over. Buzz, buzz, buzz! The long sword vibrated, and streaks of red sword light turned into terrifying sharp blades, ruthlessly chopping towards Lin Xian. It's the same situation again. Lin Xian frowned and his face darkened. He unleashed a vast expanse of fist shadows towards his opponent. At the same time, his body swayed as he used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps to dodge the sword chi that filled the sky. It's useless. The white-clothed woman sneered disdainfully, not caring at all. Sure enough, those violent fists did not cause any harm to her. Damn it, what's going on? Lin Xian's face darkened. He realized that this pair of brother and sister were too strange. You can't escape. On the opposite side, the black-clothed man and the white-clothed woman had no intention of stopping and quickly charged towards him. The 2 of them carried terrifying attacks as they fought Lin Xian. The battle erupted, but the siblings' bodies turned illusory from time to time, and they were not attacked at all. On the other hand, Lin Xian was under increasing pressure. Boom! Another earth-shattering collision occurred. The mysterious siblings dodged the attack, but Lin Xian was the one who was pushed back 1,000 meters. "Kid, if this is all you have, then you can die." The black-clothed man snorted disdainfully. The white-clothed woman also laughed coquettishly. "Demon King madman? You're nothing in front of us siblings." Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He realized that the other party was too strange, so he used his martial path heavenly eye to see everything clearly. Buzz! Lin Xian's eyes became incomparably deep, and mysterious runes flickered at the same time. Then he pointed out a finger. Void, shattering finger! Like a dragon, it instantly pierced through the black-clothed man. However, it did not cause any effect. It's useless. You don't have to struggle anymore. Your attacks can't hurt us at all." The black-clothed man did not dodge at all. He shook his head and sneered. Lin Xian acted as if he did not hear it. He continued to attack the black-clothed man and the white-clothed woman. At the same time, the martial path heavenly eye in his eyes burst out a bright light. Gradually, he found a clue. There was an energy connection between the 2 of them. He realized that when the black-clothed man's body turned transparent and dodged the attack, the white-clothed woman could not do the same. Therefore, the white-clothed woman could only dodge. And when the white-clothed woman ignored the attack, the black-clothed man dodged. In other words, the 2 of them could not ignore the attack at the same time. When he realized this, Lin Xian's lips curled into a sneer. He did not know how the other party did it, but since he found a flaw, the other party was not invincible. At this time, the black-clothed man in front of him said coldly, "All right, kid, the game is over. Now you can go to hell obediently." I wonder if the disciples of the 3 sects will be grateful to us for killing a demon king like you. The white-clothed woman released a murderous aura. She held a red thin sword in her hand and walked forward step by step. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly and said, "The 2 of you are just SOs. Watch how I break your cultivation techniques now." "What, just SOSO?" The mysterious siblings were stunned, then sneered disdainfully. "Kid, I think water has entered your brain. What an idiot. Even now, you still think you can hurt us?" The two of them snorted disdainfully because no one had ever been able to break their techniques. "Since you are so stubborn, I'll send you to hell. Purple sun splits the sky." The black-clothed man snorted coldly. In his palm, a purple sun quickly appeared, blooming with bright light. Then he quickly charged toward Lin Xian. On the other side, the white-clothed woman also shouted, "Sword slashes the mountains and rivers." Streaks of red sword chi flew out like flying meteors, carrying with them a powerful force. The two killer moves quickly rushed toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian also let out a long roar and circulated the power in his body to the maximum. He opened his fists wide, and his whole person was like a god of war, unstoppable. Apocalyptic Black Dragon Fist. A terrifying fist technique appeared. His fist swung and completely shattered the void. The black fist was like a black dragon and as heavy as a mountain. It violently collided with the two killer moves. Clang! The energy explosion swept out in all directions. The black-clothed man and the white-clothed woman instantly came to Lin Xian's side. They quickly attacked again from both sides. Chapter 1653. Heavenly Dragon's 8 Steps. In the next moment, a golden Tao pattern appeared under Lin Xian's feet. His speed was extremely fast, and he dodged the attacks of the two people in an instant. He charged towards the two people at the same time. The black fist was crystal clear as it charged towards the woman in white. "It's useless." The woman in white sneered, and her body instantly became transparent. However, at this moment, the black-robed man beside her let out an angry roar, because he realized that Lin Xian was attacking him at the same time. That black fist had already arrived in front of her. Damn it! How is this possible? The black-robed man was shocked. Wasn't the other party attacking his sister? How could he be in front of him? That fist was too terrifying. It carried an aura that could destroy heaven and earth, causing him to feel pain all over his body. If he was hit by that fist, he would definitely not be able to withstand it. Therefore, without thinking, his body immediately became transparent. Whoosh! The terrifying fist passed through the black-robed man's body and hit the void. Immediately, the black-robed man heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he dodged the fist at the critical moment. However, in the next moment, his expression became extremely ugly, because not far away, the woman in white let out a scream and fell down like a meteor. Boom! The woman in white was like a kite with a broken string. Her entire body was extremely pale, and she spat out large mouthfuls of blood. At the last moment, she was hit by Lin Xian's black dragon fist and was severely injured. What? How is this possible? The black-robed man was shocked and could not believe it. Wasn't the other party attacking him? Why is the woman in white injured? No. Damn it. I don't believe it. The black-robed man went crazy. His body swayed, and he came to the side of the woman in white. "Sister, are you all right?" The black-robed man quickly took out some pills and healed the woman in white. At the same time, he quickly asked, "What's going on? Why are you injured?" "He was clearly attacking me." "No, he was attacking me," the woman in white said weakly. Her eyes were filled with shock. Originally, she could have dodged the punch. However, at the last moment, the black-robed man's body turned into nothingness, causing her to be completely exposed to the black dragon fist. That was why she was severely injured. Hearing the woman in white's words, the black-robed man's expression turned ugly. What? We were both attacked? Damn it, that's impossible. How did he do it? They really couldn't understand how the other party had managed to injure them. The siblings' domains were very special. They were able to switch between illusory and corporeal with each other, which was why they were able to avoid attacks. However, between the siblings, only one of them could immaterialize at a time. The two of them couldn't do it at the same time. This was their only flaw. However, no one noticed this flaw. Even if someone did, they wouldn't be able to counterattack. This was because the brother and sister were both personal disciples, and their cultivations were both 5-star kings. Their strength was horrifying, and their speed was even faster. They could switch between illusion and reality with just a thought. No matter how fast people of the same level were, they would not be able to catch up to their speed. Only Ding Peng and the other 2 geniuses could defeat them. Other than that, even if the other personal disciples discovered an opening, they would not be able to launch a counterattack in terms of speed. And now, this mysterious young man had done it. They couldn't believe it. They even suspected that the mysterious man in front of them might be one of the 3 geniuses of Ding Peng. Damn it, who the hell are you? How can you be so fast? The white-robed woman gritted her teeth. She couldn't believe it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You're just a frog at the bottom of a well. Don't think that only the 3 geniuses have such speed. Don't be so arrogant. I will never let you off. The black-robed man also gritted his teeth and roared. The brother and sister had always been arrogant. Other than the 3 geniuses, they didn't care about anyone else. But now they were actually injured by a nameless person. This was intolerable. Therefore, they had to kill this kid in front of them to vent the hatred in their hearts. On the other side, the white-robed woman also took out a red pill and quickly swallowed it. Her injuries immediately healed by more than half. It was obvious that this was an extremely precious healing medicine. Kid, how dare you injure me? Today, I will make you pay a painful price. The white-robed woman's face was pale, and her voice was filled with dense killing intent. The black-robed man said, Sister, let's put some distance between us. I don't believe that this kid can be faster than us. The white-robed woman also nodded. Then a light flashed behind them, and a huge territory quickly surged out, enveloping the entire space. This territory was very special. It was actually transparent. It directly blended into the void, and ordinary people wouldn't be able to detect anything unusual. This time, the 2 of them changed their strategy. The black-robed man attacked, while the white-robed woman attacked from afar. The 2 of them joined forces and attacked Lin Xian. The black-robed man roared and attacked first. His palms quickly formed a seal, and an extremely dazzling light appeared in the sky. Purple sun splits the sky. A purple sun appeared, flickering with purple light. Then, it jumped out of the black-robed man's palm. In the blink of an eye, it quickly expanded and floated in the sky. It was like a real sun, and its flames soared into the sky. Its divine power was vast and mighty. Kill! The black-robed man roared and pushed the large purple sun downward. Boom, boom, boom. The purple sun swayed, making tsunami-like sounds. It shook the void, and the surrounding mountains and earth quickly cracked open. In an instant, the purple sun arrived in front of Lin Xian and pressed down hard. Armageddon, black dragon fist. Lin Xian roared. His black hair fluttered, and his body was incomparably fierce. He used the incomparably violent Armageddon, black dragon fist. Boom! His fists were like dragons, and they fiercely slammed into the purple sun. Suddenly, an earth-shattering vibration was heard, and it was like a sharp sword that tore through the sky. Black cracks started to appear in the void due to this power. This punch was too terrifying. It carried an incomparably violent aura, and it directly shattered the purple sun into pieces. What? How is this possible? The black-robed man who wanted to attack was shocked when he saw this scene. This was too unexpected. His attack had actually been directly shattered by someone. This was probably something only Ding Peng and the other 2 prodigies could do. Could it be that this is really one of them? Thinking of this, his scalp went numb. Lin Xian snorted coldly. It's over. As he spoke, the violent and destructive aura on his body skyrocketed again. He was like an angry dragon roaring in the sky. Thunderbolt dragon. With a roar, countless violent auras suddenly surged out, condensing into 2 huge black dragons that circled in the sky. Not only that, but the sky was suddenly filled with dark clouds, and dozens of black lightning bolts fell. Then one of the black dragons charged toward the black-robed man. Chapter 1654. Not only that, the sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds, and dozens of black lightning bolts descended. Then one of the black dragons charged towards the black-robed man. Illusory transformation. The black-robed man's pupils constricted as he roared. The power was too great, and he could not withstand it at all. He could only use his ultimate skill to turn his body into an illusory state to dodge the attack. Anyway, his sister had already retreated to a safe distance. He would definitely not let something like the last time happen again. However, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a hint of disdain. Then his body swayed. Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps. With one step, Lin Xian's entire body turned into lightning, and he was extremely fast. Not only that, he also carried another black dragon and endless black lightning, and quickly rushed towards the woman in white. Almost instantly, he rushed in front of the woman in white. Immediately, the black dragon and black lightning all landed on the woman in white. What? Seeing this scene, the black-robed man's expression changed drastically. Damn it! He roared and gave up on turning his body into an illusory state, giving the opportunity to the woman in white. Boom! In the next moment, the 2 black dragons exploded, and 2 huge black holes appeared in the sky, quickly spreading in all directions. This scene was extremely terrifying, and all the martial artists in the forest felt it. For a moment, everyone raised their heads and looked at the sky. When they saw the 2 pitch-black black holes, they were immediately shocked. What a terrifying energy storm! Who's doing it? Judging from the aura, it's at least a direct disciple, and it's in the top 5. Why do I feel like it's Ding Peng and the other 2 prodigies? Exclamations sounded one after another. Obviously, the 2 black holes terrified everyone. Let's go and take a look. Many people moved. Among them, there was no lack of direct disciples. In the forest, Ding Peng, Xiao Cheng, and Dan Feng also raised their heads and looked at the sky. They immediately frowned. The 3 of them snorted coldly and also moved, flying in the direction of the black holes. For a moment, countless rays of light lit up the sky, and all of them flew in the same direction. Soon, they all arrived near the black holes. However, when they saw the scene in front of them, everyone was stunned. They were all dumbstruck and could not believe it. Not only that, their hearts were beating wildly, and all the hair on their bodies stood on end. The reason for that was because 2 enormous craters had appeared before them. Within each of the craters lay a figure. This kind of scene was not unfamiliar to him. After all, it would appear after every battle. However, what shocked them were the 2 figures below. F***CK. Aren't they Huanling and Huanling from the Purple Sun sect? That's right. They are ranked in the top 3 among the direct disciples. How could he have been injured? Could it be that Ding Peng and the other 2 geniuses have made their move? That can't be. Normally, people of this level wouldn't go all out in the first round. Cries of surprise could be heard. As for the personal disciples in the crowd, their expressions were even more serious. They were well aware of the strength and means of the phantom siblings. That kind of divine ability that could switch between real and false gave the majority of personal disciples an incomparable headache. Under normal circumstances, no one dared to fight with them. But now, Huanling and Huanling were actually seriously injured. This was really unbelievable. Who on earth is it? How could they have such means? Could it be that the 3 heavens' favorites have made their moves? Everyone was extremely puzzled. However, at this time, someone cried out in surprise, "Look, Ding Peng and the rest of the 3 heavens' favorites have arrived." Sure enough, the void fluctuated. 3 figures appeared in front of everyone. It was precisely Ding Peng, Xiao Cheng, and Dan Feng, 3 people. The moment these 3 people appeared, they also furrowed their brows, because the scene before their eyes made them similarly shocked. "You guys made a move?" the three people asked each other, but the next moment, the three people shook their heads at the same time. Seeing this scene, the surrounding martial artists were even more stunned. Looks like it was not the three Heaven's favorites who made a move. Then who on earth possessed such heaven-defying divine ability to be able to defeat the phantom siblings? Ding Peng asked in a solemn voice, "Who injured you guys?" "It's that Demon King. Below," the black-robed man said with difficulty. Until now, a hint of deep horror surfaced in his eyes. That scene previously was seriously too shocking. He and his sister were both attacked. This made him unable to believe it. However, what made him feel at ease was that the other party did not deal a killing blow to the two of them. They only injured the two of them and took away their storage rings. However, these words were akin to a clap of thunder in the ears of the surrounding martial artists, exploding with a loud bang. "Demon King? What? It's that Demon King again. Damn it, he actually made a move again. Who the hell is that person? He's too strong. He can even defeat the phantom siblings? Could it be that his strength is no weaker than the three Heaven's favorites?" For a moment, everyone's scalp went numb, and they were even terrified, because when they thought that there was a powerful Demon King hidden in the Hidden Moon Forest, they even had the urge to escape. At this time, Dan Feng also asked in a solemn voice, "Who is that Demon King? Do you know?" "I don't know. That person is wearing a black robe and an azure dragon mask on his face, blocking all detection. We don't know who he is at all." The woman in white also gritted her teeth and said, the brother and sister were seriously injured. At this moment, they were swallowing medicinal pills to heal their injuries while answering Dan Feng's question. "Does that person have any form or characteristics, such as cultivation method or something?" Ding Peng asked again. At the same time, he took out 2 healing pills from his storage ring and threw them to the phantom siblings in front of him. "Thank you, Senior Brother Ding." The phantom siblings took the medicinal pills, quickly swallowed them, and then said, "Although we don't know the identity of that person, he seems to have used a very violent fist technique. That fist technique is very easy to recognize. It has a violent and destructive aura when used. Not only that, between the fist shadows, there are also black dragon shadows. It should be a very profound fist technique." The woman in white also quickly said. At this moment, the personal disciples who had been robbed earlier began to chime in one after another. "That's right, it's that kind of fist technique. It's too violent, as if it can destroy everything. Yes, he also has a unique skill, that is, he can instantly shoot out 2 black dragons, and there are also black lightning descending. It's very terrifying." Information came out one after another, and the surrounding people were shocked. They now vowed that as long as they encountered such a person in the forest, they would immediately turn around and leave. They absolutely did not dare to meet him. Meanwhile, Ding Peng, Xiao Cheng, and Dan Feng were frowning too. Since Ling Su and his sister had also lost, they were afraid that the other personal disciples were not that person's opponent. Perhaps only the 3 of them could defeat the other party. However, it was unknown whether the other party would find the 3 of them to fight. Chapter 1655. At the same time, in a hidden cave, Lin Xian was holding 2 storage rings with a smile on his face. These were the storage rings of the mysterious siblings. One had to admit that the storage rings of the 2 siblings were very rich, even richer than the storage rings of ordinary personal disciples. There were a large number of supreme-grade, subdivine crystals inside, which made Lin Xian very happy. He used the Dragon Sword Realm and quickly absorbed them. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. His cultivation was also increasing rapidly, and he was now only a step away from becoming a 3-star king. However, he could not break through. Not enough. I need to fight again. Lin Xian calculated the time. There was only 1 day left before the end of the first stage. He had to find a personal disciple and fight again. As long as he could get some supreme-grade subdivine crystals, he would be able to break through and become a 3-star king. Once he became a 3-star king, his strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. His battle strength would increase greatly. In this way, he would have a certain level of strength in this vast eastern wasteland. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he moved again. This time he was looking for a personal disciple while flying towards the mountain range in the distance. This was because he had to reach that mountain peak at the stipulated time tomorrow. Otherwise, he would fail. Therefore, Lin Xian would not miss this opportunity. However, he did not find many people along the way. He thought that those people were all flying towards the mountain peak. This was indeed the case. It was already the last day. Basically, those who had the strength had formed a complete jade pendant. At this moment, they were flying towards the mountain peak. Those who had lost their jade pendants were lying in ambush near the mountain peak, wanting to launch a final counterattack. Therefore, there were not many people in most places in this forest. Moreover, there was another reason. It was the scene of the siblings being defeated 2 days ago. It was too shocking. It made everyone tremble in fear. They did not dare to stay in this forest any longer, afraid that they would meet the Demon King Madman. This made Lin Xian somewhat depressed. This was because if he did not meet other personal disciples, he would not be able to break through to become a 3-star king. Therefore, along the way, he quickly spread out his soul power, forming a carpet search. There's sounds of fighting ahead. After flying for half a day, Lin Xian finally discovered a trace of movement. Instantly, his face was filled with ecstasy as he sped up. The view in front of him opened up, and the trees gradually became sparse. Instead, it was surrounded by mountains, and there was even a large silver waterfall flowing down. The sound of the flowing water was like a thunderclap, deafening to the ears. Not only that, but there was also an intense battle taking place near the waterfall. However, the two sides of the battle were a little strange. It wasn't the disciples of the 3 sects fighting. It was a battle between a man and a beast. It was a green-robed man. His eyes were like lightning, and his face was sharp as a knife. His entire being was incomparably fierce. On his body, it was surrounded by sharp saber lights, each of which was as sharp as a heavenly saber. It was extremely terrifying. Opposite him was a terrifying demon king. Its entire body was covered in blue scales. Its body was the size of a small mountain, and its head was the size of a house. Not only that, but his body also carried a monstrous killing intent, causing more than half of the void to distort. At this moment, the two of them were fighting, and terrifying waves of air swept in all directions. When Lin Xian got closer, he noticed that there was a half-meter tall plant behind the blue monster. The purple leaves were crystal clear, and a 7-petaled flower bloomed. There were 7 or 8 purple fruits on top of it. Arhut, divine fruit! Lin Xian was extremely shocked because it was a rare spirit fruit. It was rarely seen, and he didn't expect to see it here. No wonder the green-robed man wanted to fight with the blue monster. He probably wanted to obtain the Arhut divine fruit as well. Moreover, the green-robed man was no stranger to Lin Xian. He was the top genius of the Purple Sun sect, Dingpong. Lin Xian's arrival naturally attracted the attention of Dingpong and the blue monster. The monster's eyes were ferocious as it roared angrily. Obviously, it was very dissatisfied with this new human and wanted to scare him away. On the other side, Dingpong frowned. A black robe and a green dragon mask. You should be the crazy demon king that's been rumored recently. Dingpong sneered. Kid, you actually dared to attack a disciple of the Purple Sun sect. How audacious. Since we've met now, I'll kill you myself. To be honest, Lin Xian didn't expect to meet a top genius so soon. Ding Peng's strength was indeed outstanding, far surpassing the other personal disciples. However, since they had met, Lin Xian didn't plan to leave. Since the other party was his senior brother, he should have more supreme grade, subdivine crystals. If he could obtain the other party's storage ring, he could definitely break through to become a 3-star king. I didn't expect it to be you. Since we've met, let's have a go. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. What? Ding Peng was indeed a little surprised. He snorted, Kid, no matter who you are, your courage is indeed surprising. However, you're too arrogant. Don't think that you're so great just because you defeated the phantom siblings. To tell you the truth, other than Xiao, Cheng, and Dan Feng, no one dares to attack me. However, even Xiao Cheng and Dan Feng are no match for me. So you dared to challenge me. That's your biggest mistake. Cut the crap. Whether it's a mistake or not, we'll know in a battle. Lin Xian shook his head indifferently and said, Let's go to the other side, so as not to destroy the Arhut divine fruit. Up to you. Since you want to choose your own grave, I'll fulfill your wish. Ding Peng shrugged indifferently. He had strong confidence. This time, he came with the intention of entering the wavering light, sacred land. Moreover, he was very confident in himself. Even Dan Feng and Xiao Cheng, who were equally famous as him, were no match for him. It could be said that he was the strongest among all the warriors this time. Although the Demon King madman on the opposite side had defeated many personal disciples, he didn't take them seriously. Lin Xian didn't say anything else. His figure flashed and flew into the distance. Very soon he arrived at a forest. This place was some distance away from that Arhut divine fruit. Even if they fought fiercely, they probably could not hurt that place too. Chosen the grave? Behind, Ding Peng followed unhurriedly, a hint of a cold smile at the corners of his mouth. So much crap. But Lin Xian gave a cold snort. Courting death. Let me see just what means you have. Ding Peng was greatly enraged. He never thought that the other party actually dared to berate him. One had to know. Even Dan Feng and Xiao Cheng did not dare to be so rude to him. The next instant his figure swayed, his entire person charging over swiftly like lightning. Chapter 1656. In the next moment his figure flickered, and he charged over like lightning. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Lin Xian. At the same time, his arm vibrated rapidly. He did not pull out his long saber. Instead, he used another terrifying technique. His 5 fingers formed a claw with mysterious runes surrounding it. Suddenly, 5 terrifying claw shadows appeared. Each of them was several meters long and had a deep purple color. On top of it, there were mysterious runes revolving around it. Otherwise, there would be lightning flashing around them and emitting a terrifying aura. Purple Demon Claw. As soon as the terrifying palm appeared, it was immediately filled with a terrifying aura. At the same time, there was also a shocking amount of power. Perhaps even a 5-star king would not be able to resist this claw. Lin Xian snorted coldly, clenched his fingers into a fist, and punched out. Boom! The two collided and the void exploded. Countless storms swept in all directions. In the next moment, Lin Xian retracted his hand, and the huge claw was also pushed back. Interesting. No wonder you could injure so many personal disciples. I have to say, your strength has indeed exceeded my expectations. Ding Peng was extremely surprised, and he sized up Lin Xian again. He did not expect the young man in front of him to be so powerful. It was far beyond his expectations. Looking at his strength, he was not weak even among 5-star kings. However, he had no chance of winning against him. In the next moment, Ding Peng sneered and waved his huge palm again, quickly slapping over. The purple demon claw bloomed with light and quickly grew larger. In the blink of an eye, it covered the entire sky. Above it, lightning flashed and rumbled. It was as if a purple cloud had completely enveloped Lin Xian. Boom! 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 The purple demon claw had not descended yet, but the lightning on it mercilessly struck down. One by one, they interweaved in the air, forming an electric net. It was powerful and terrifying, and it quickly enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian's response was very simple. He punched out. At this moment, his fist was comparable to a treasure. It was powerful and terrifying. The purple lightning net was instantly torn apart by the fist. Not only that, the fist silhouettes that filled the sky interweaved with one another and rapidly shot upward. Fight against me? You overestimate yourself. Ding Peng coldly snorted and clapped his hands. Immediately, the black, cloud-like, demonic claw in the sky rapidly descended. The demonic claws covered the sky and covered the earth. This kind of powerful attack was suffocating. Most likely, other than Dan Feng and Xiao Cheng, none of the other personal disciples would be able to stand against him. However, the result exceeded Ding Peng's expectations. The black fist rose into the air and instantly slammed into the purple demonic claw. Ka. The purple demonic claw couldn't withstand the pressure and let out a low groan. Then it was covered with cracks. On the other hand, Lin Xian's fist shone brightly, and its power did not diminish. Pung! In the next moment, the purple demonic claw split apart. What? Ding Peng's pupils shrank, and he retracted his hand in disbelief. Streams of blood flowed between his fingers, and his face was pitch black. His opponent had actually broken through his attack. This was simply too unbelievable. What a powerful fist! Damn it, what kind of fist technique is this? His expression was uncertain, and a strong killing intent appeared in his eyes. He was full of confidence previously and didn't take the other party seriously at all. But now he actually suffered a loss in the other party's hands and was even injured. This made his face burn, as if he had been slapped in public. Good. Kid, I didn't expect that I underestimated you. Ding Peng was so angry that he laughed. But next, I will let you know my true strength, and you will die in despair. Snorting coldly again, Ding Peng's black hair danced wildly, and his entire body emitted a terrifying aura. He was like a demon king, waving his palms rapidly, forming a strange trajectory. If there were other martial artists present, they would definitely exclaim in shock, because what the other party used was a purple sun sect's ultimate skill. Void Heaven Palm. A purple sun appeared in Ding Peng's palm. It spun rapidly, emitting a monstrous aura. This was a purple sun sect's ultimate skill, and it was extremely terrifying. At this moment, in the hands of Ding Peng, it was even more powerful. That purple sun seemed very real. Although it wasn't big, the aura emitted from it was probably something that a 5-star king couldn't withstand. In fact, it had already surpassed the power of a 5-star king. Lin Xian's expression was also solemn. He let out a low shout, and immediately his entire body released spiritual energy. Waves of destructive aura quickly surged out. It fought against the purple light in front of him. Boom! In fact, the two of them didn't even make a move, but the terrifying aura clashed rapidly in the air. A thunderous sound was heard. Cracks were even torn in the void. On the opposite side, the purple sun was held in Ding Peng's hand, emitting an ocean-like energy. Not only that, the weight was extremely terrifying. Even the void under Ding Peng's feet was distorted. One could only imagine how terrifying this purple sun was. Kill! With a cold shout, Ding Peng's palm fell. Immediately, the purple sun began to descend. Boom! The sky collapsed in an instant. The purple sun was incomparable. Wherever it passed, nothing could stop it. That kind of power was probably something that even a 6-star king would have to avoid. The surrounding mountains and forests collapsed in an instant. Countless cracks that were thousands of miles long appeared on the ground. There was nothing that could resist this kind of power. Even Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He knew that the other party was definitely a powerful opponent. However, he wasn't afraid. Ever since he started cultivating, he had never been afraid of anyone. Now it was the same. At this moment, light bloomed in his body. The great dragon sword's soul circulated rapidly, and the destructive and violent aura on his body suddenly skyrocketed. The black aura even turned into flames that burned fiercely, intertwining to form a black dragon that circled around his body. He waved his fists, and endless fist shadows flashed. The black dragon on his body became more solid, as if it had traveled through time and space. In the end, the black scales on it were even lifelike, as if a real dragon had been reborn. Roar! A loud dragon roar sounded. The black dragon on his body and the great dragon sword soul in his body roared at the same time. At this moment, Lin Xian's body was filled with power. The dragon sword soul in his body surged, and dragon qi surrounded his body. At this moment, with Lin Xian as the center, powerful energy fluctuations rolled out like waves, sweeping in all directions. Thunderbolt Dragon! Lin Xian shouted as he waved his fists, executing the first killing move of the apocalyptic Black Dragon Fist. Immediately, a violent destructive aura surged out. The two fist shadows turned into black dragons that roared and charged forward. This was a top Earth-grade martial blood, coupled with Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul. Its power was terrifying to the extreme. Chapter 16:57. A violent destructive aura surged out. The two fist shadows transformed into black dragons that roared and charged forward. This was a top-tier Earth-grade martial bloodline, coupled with Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul. Its power was terrifying to the extreme. This power had also surpassed that of a 5-star king. In fact, even a 6-star king might not be able to contend against it. The black dragons fought against the purple sun. In the next moment, the two collided, erupting with an incomparable light. The entire sky was illuminated in an instant. The berserk aura swept out in all directions like the waves of the sea. At this moment, the area within 100 miles was filled with violent energy flows. Countless mountains and trees were uprooted from the ground. Dozens of huge black holes appeared in the sky. They were like giant beasts in the abyss. The ground sank as if there was a huge earthquake. This attack was extremely terrifying. After dozens of collisions, the purple sun was on the verge of collapse. Then it exploded. Violent energy swept through heaven and earth. The two black dragons roared and soared into the sky. At this moment, the Void Sky Solar Palm was defeated. Puff! Ding Pong also vomited blood on the spot as his body flew backward. His palms drooped down weakly, and his entire body was severely injured. There was a loud boom. He landed on the ground like a meteor. Lin Xian stood in the air, his black hair fluttering in the wind. His black robe trembled, and the azure dragon mask emitted a cold light. At this moment, he was like a god of war. He was unstoppable. Ah! Below! Ding Pong roared angrily. The huge rocks around him exploded in an instant. An entire place turned into nothingness. At this moment, his hair was disheveled, and he was in an extremely sorry state. His body was dripping with blood, but his eyes were abnormally cold. Not only that, but his handsome face was also incomparably ferocious. He was angry. He was really angry. As the eldest personal disciple of the Purple Sun sect, his strength had reached the peak of 5-star king realm. It could be said that he was extremely terrifying. Moreover, this time he came to participate in the Holy Land selection with the confidence that he would definitely win. It could be said that no one among the disciples of the 3 sects could compare to him. But now he had actually been defeated. In fact, it was not that he was careless. Instead, he was defeated when he used his sect's ultimate technique. His opponent's fist was stronger than his, and his opponent's strength was even crazier than his. That destructive aura almost tore his body apart. This kind of scene was something that he had never imagined before. Therefore, he could not accept it at all. With a furious roar, he quickly took out several pills from his storage ring and swallowed them. At the same time, he circulated his spiritual energy, and the bones in his body began to crackle. In an instant, all the broken bones were reconnected. However, even so, the wounds on his body quickly healed. His entire body emitted an incomparably resplendent purple light. "Brat, how dare you injure me? Die!" At this moment, Ding Peng was like a crazed beast, abnormally terrifying. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. He executed Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and instantly arrived below like a bolt of lightning. Not only that, he even raised his foot and stomped towards Ding Peng. Suddenly, a huge foot of light was formed. It was as sharp as a mountain, and it pressed down quickly. "You are courting death. Scram!" Ding Peng was enraged and roared madly. As a direct disciple, when had he ever been looked down upon like this? The other party actually used the sole of his foot to stomp on him? This really made him mad. With a furious roar, 2 sharp rays of light shot out from his eyes. They were like 2 sharp blades that slashed forward fiercely. The sharp blade light ruthlessly slashed on the huge foot, emitting a sonorous sound. The flames were like lightning, shaking heaven and earth. The gigantic foot of light was blocked, and Ding Peng took advantage of this opportunity to appear in another location. "Brat, die!" He roared madly. At this moment, he used all his strength. No matter who the other party was, he had to kill him. With a sonorous sound, the long blade at his waist was pulled out. Then his arm swayed, and a ray of light quickly slashed out. Whoosh! The ray of light was like a purple divine rainbow. It was extremely dazzling, and a terrifying murderous aura soared into the sky. Lin Xian executed Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and quickly dodged. He was like a ghost, constantly changing his position, and his speed was extremely fast. The sharp blade light that filled the sky brushed past him and did not hit him at all. Even if they hit him, they were all afterimages. This made Ding Peng even angrier. With a furious roar, light flickered behind him, and a huge domain instantly enveloped the entire space. I don't believe it. No matter how fast you are, what can you do? In my domain, you have no way to survive. Ding Peng gritted his teeth, and a murderous aura bloomed all over his body. To be honest, he was too shocked. The other party's fist was extremely terrifying and powerful, which made him very shocked. However, the other party's speed was even more strange, and it was extremely fast. In fact, it was even faster than his blade light. This made him unable to do anything to the other party for a while. Thus, he unleashed his domain and completely enveloped the entire space. Seeing that the other party was enveloped, Ding Peng revealed a sinister smile. In this domain, he was the king, and he dominated everything. No matter how fast the other party was, he could not escape. "Haha, brat, go to hell!" Boom! Boom! The divine blade domain trembled rapidly, emitting a tsunami-like sound that shook the void. Inside, countless blade lights flickered. They were like streaks of divine red that crisscrossed within. "Kill!" Ding Peng roared angrily, and immediately, thousands of blade lights slashed toward Lin Xian. The entire space was filled with murderous intent. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the dragon's sword domain also appeared behind him. The green domain enveloped him, and countless sword chi also flew out to fight against the blade lights that filled the sky. Clang! Clang! The sound of metal colliding rang out, and every strike tore through the sky. However, Ding Peng's expression did not look good. The reason for that was because his saber lights were actually blocked. One had to know that this was really too unbelievable. His divine blade domain was extremely terrifying. Any blade light could kill a 5-star king. At this moment, even a 6-star king would not be able to withstand it. However, the mysterious young man opposite him actually blocked it, and from the looks of it, it was effortless. This made him extremely shocked. Damn it, who is this kid? Ding Peng was extremely shocked. He realized that the other party's methods were too strange. Not only did he have incomparably powerful strength and terrifying speed, but he also had such a terrifying domain. The aura on those rays of light even surpassed his divine blade domain. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Ding Peng shook his head frantically. As the eldest personal disciple of the Purple Sun sect, his combat strength was even comparable to some disciples of the sacred grounds. It could be said that he was very powerful. Therefore, he did not believe that the other party could defeat him. Divine blade birth. Finally, Ding Peng roared angrily. The divine blade domain trembled, and the purple blade lights that filled the sky quickly intertwined and gathered on the long blade in his hand. Chapter 1658. The divine saber domain trembled as the purple saber light that filled the sky quickly intertwined and gathered on the long saber in his hand. Originally, the purple long saber in his hand was already very bright. Now, with the support of the endless saber light, it became even brighter. Mid-grade Earth rank treasure. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and quickly used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps. Humph! It's useless. In front of my divine saber domain. You definitely can't escape this time. Ding Peng shouted coldly and then waved the purple saber in his hand. Boom! The long saber fell, and a huge purple saber light quickly appeared. Divine light shone, and killing intent soared into the sky. It was like a purple river that quickly descended. The void split open, and the saber light vibrated, making a crisp sound. It was like a sudden clap of thunder that pierced through all directions. For a moment, the entire space was completely covered by violent energy, and movement techniques could not be used at all. Therefore, Lin Xian did not use the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps, unless he used his fist to break the domain and quickly leave the divine saber domain. Otherwise, no matter how fast his movement technique was, he would probably be affected. Humph! It's just a mid-grade Earth rank treasure. It's no big deal. Lin Xian snorted coldly and clenched his hand. Suddenly, a small black cauldron appeared in front of him. He waved it lightly, and the small black cauldron instantly became as big as a black mountain, blocking in front of him. The small black cauldron was very simple and unadorned. Birds and beasts were engraved on it, and it emitted a black light that was very lifelike. Clang! The shocking saber light slashed on the 10,000 beast sting, making an earth-shaking sound, but it did not break. What? He blocked it. Ding Peng was shocked and could not believe it. The long saber in his hand was a mid-grade Earth rank treasure, coupled with his king's domain. It could be said that this move could hurt a 6-star king. However, the other party blocked it. This shocked him greatly. Could it be that it's also a mid-grade Earth rank treasure? Ding Peng's eyes were like lightning as he stared at the 10,000 beast sting in front of him. His face immediately became gloomy. He did not expect the other party to also have a mid-grade Earth rank treasure. He was really too shocked. Normally, the direct disciples of the Purple Sun sect and the other 2 sects would have low-grade Earth-class artifacts. Only the 3 of them, the eldest direct disciples, would possess a mid-grade Earth-step artifact. Apart from the 3 of them, no one else had the right to possess it. Moreover, he had never heard of anyone who was lucky enough to obtain such a treasure. However, this mysterious person had actually taken out a mid-grade Earth-step artifact. It was simply too shocking. Damn it! Is this kid really not a disciple of our 3 sects? At this moment, Ding Peng's heart was filled with suspicion. Who the hell are you? Why do you have a mid-grade Earth-step artifact? Ding Peng gritted his teeth and asked. Lin Xian coldly snorted. You'll know the answer to that question when you beat me. Then he waved his palm and slapped the 10,000 beast sting in front of him. Suddenly, the 10,000 beast sting shone brightly. Above it, 5 rays of light flowed. Those strange beasts quickly rotated, as if they were about to come to life. Boom! 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 Indeed, in the next moment, a demonic beast charged out of the 10,000 bee sting. Immediately, a demonic aura soared into the sky, and a dense light covered the sky. It was a black demonic beast. Its body was as big as a mountain, and its wings were like black demonic blades. When it spread out, it was at least 1,000 meters long. There was a thick, murderous aura around it. In the next moment, Ding Peng's pupils constricted. He could naturally feel the terrifying energy coming from the other party. In fact, he was extremely wary of it. On the other hand, Lin Xian was like a demon king, holding the 10,000 beast sting in his hand. At that moment, the black demonic beast in the sky quickly charged over. The sky was filled with demonic aura, and its terrifying power tore through the void. This power made one feel despair. Even a 6-star king would not dare to face it head-on. Kill! Ding Peng's scalp went numb, but he still roared angrily. With the purple saber in his hand, he quickly counterattacked. With a slash of his saber, the surrounding divine saber domain shone rapidly, turning into a dazzling saber light. Like a galaxy, it charged forward. Clang! The saber light was like lightning, ruthlessly slashing the black, demonic beast. Immediately, a thunderous sound was heard. Roar! That black, demonic beast seemed to be real, and it let out a terrifying roar. Then it raised its incomparably black beast claw and slammed it down. At the same time, it flapped its wings and spun rapidly, forming countless black gales that swept in all directions. This energy was too terrifying. In an instant, the black beast clashed with the saber light that filled the sky, bursting out countless large explosions. The two were evenly matched, and neither could do anything to the other. Ding Peng's face was gloomy. He did not expect that the other party could really contend with him. Lin Xian was expressionless. He formed a seal with his palm again and slammed it on the 10,000 bee sting. Suddenly, the demonic beast on it flashed, and another behemoth rushed out quickly. What? There's more! Ding Peng's pupils constricted. He did not expect that the other party could summon demonic beasts. At this moment, Lin Xian did not use the destruction Black Dragon Fist. Instead, he used another Earth-grade martial art, the 9 Changes of the Firmament. Originally, this was a low-grade Earth-grade martial art. Its power was a little behind now, but it was different now. Lin Xian combined the 9 Changes of the Firmament with the 10,000 bee sting, and the attack was no weaker than a high-grade, Earth-grade martial art. After all, the 10,000 bee sting was a mid-grade, Earth-grade artifact. Moreover, the beast souls on it were very compatible with the 9 Changes of the Firmament. Therefore, the combination of the two was shocking. The black demonic beast from before was the first change of the firmament, the Chongqi change. Now, Lin Xian formed another seal with his palm. Suddenly, a black heavenly pung appeared in the sky. It was incomparably black, and when it spread its wings, it covered the sky like an ancient demonic beast. Boom! The void suddenly boiled. The black heavenly peng surface was smooth and flowing, and 108,000 swords were quickly displayed. Suddenly, the entire void was filled with countless black sword chi, and it was incomparably terrifying. Every sword chi was extremely sharp, like a divine artifact. Damn it! How can he be so strong? Ding Peng's face was incomparably ugly. To be honest, this method was indeed out of his expectations. However, the purple saber in his hand was also a mid-grade, Earth-grade artifact. Therefore, he wouldn't admit defeat so easily. Purple lightning saber technique. Ding Peng roared and once again displayed a powerful martial art. The purple lightning saber technique was also a high-grade, Earth-grade martial art, and it was incomparably terrifying. With a slash of the saber light that filled the sky turned into purple lightning. An ear-piercing sound resounded through heaven and earth. The terrifying lightning saber light quickly clashed with the 108,000 swords. Boom! Boom! The entire void was completely pierced through. However, it wasn't over yet. Just when Ding Peng thought that he had resisted the heavenly Peng, the third demonic beast on Lin Xian's side condensed. Di Jiang, an ancient demonic beast, born together with fire. The moment it appeared, it immediately brought monstrous flames. Boundless flames surged and surged. Everywhere in the world was a sea of fiery red. The terrifying heat wave burned the saber light that filled the sky to ashes. Chapter 1659. The terrifying heat wave burned all the saber lights in the sky to ashes. Then Di Jiang flapped his wings. Suddenly, the flames that filled the sky rushed towards Ding Peng like waves in the sea. It was as if he wanted to burn the entire divine saber domain. Purple lightning saber technique. Ultimate kill transformation. On the other side, Ding Peng was forced to retreat. He roared furiously and unleashed a killer move. Suddenly, the purple saber in his hand shone even brighter, as if it had turned into a divine saber. Not only that, but the entire divine saber domain also shone brightly and emitted a mysterious energy. Then, a translucent figure appeared in the divine saber domain, holding a purple lightning saber. In the next moment, a vast amount of energy surged out, and the mysterious figure quickly swung the lightning saber. Boom! An astonishing saber radiance descended from the void and slashed Di Jiang's body. Boom! The terrifying sound of the collision resounded through the world. At this moment, even the entire forest began to tremble. The flames in the sky were torn apart, and a huge saber mark appeared on Di Jiang's body. However, Ding Peng was not in a good state either. The terrifying black flames were so powerful that they caused damage to the divine saber domain. There were even cracks in some parts of the domain. Damn it! Ding Peng gritted his teeth. On the other side, Lin Xian also frowned slightly. He had to admit that his opponent was indeed powerful. In particular, the purple saber in his hand made him feel a sense of threat. However, it seemed that his opponent had used up all his tricks. On the other hand, he still had many tricks up his sleeve. Therefore, the outcome of the battle was basically decided. With a cold snort, Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms again to attack with the 10,000 bee sting. A huge demonic ape appeared. It was pitch black and stood tall like an ancient giant. It quickly appeared from the 10,000 bee sting. As soon as it appeared, its arm shook the sky, and the surrounding saber lights were all shattered. This time, not only Zhu Yan, but also the 4 beasts that Lin Xian had summoned. They charged forward together. At this moment, Lin Xian was incomparably terrifying. With the 10,000 bee sting above his head, he executed the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and turned into a flash of light as he charged forward. Apocalyptic Black Dragon Fist. Lin Xian descended from the sky like a demon king. An earth-shattering battle erupted. Under the control of the 10,000 bee sting, the 4 great demonic beasts ran amok in all directions. Lin Xian charged forward and unleashed the Black Dragon Fist of Annihilation. His attacks carried a violent and destructive aura, as if they were going to blow up the entire space. On the other side, Ding Peng was also going crazy. He did not care about the consequences and used all his strength to activate the purple long blade in his hand and the divine blade domain. He was like a saber god, swift and fierce to the extreme. However, he was still beaten until he retreated again and again. On Lin Xian's side, the more he fought, the braver he became. He performed the Annihilation Black Dragon Fist, and a destructive aura filled the air. Not only that, his fist technique was becoming more and more skillful, and he was rapidly approaching the minor accomplishment realm. Purple lightning 7 slashes. On the opposite side, Ding Peng roared and unleashed his combat strength to the extreme, slashing out 7 shocking blade rays in a row. The huge blade rays swept across the world. They directly tore through the void and slashed forward fiercely. Thunderbolt, Wild Dragon. Lin Xian performed the killer move of the Annihilation Black Dragon Fist. A huge black dragon roared out, surrounded by black lightning. It was extremely terrifying. The next moment, the enormous figure collided with the 7 shocking purple saber glows. There was an explosion in the void. An entire divine blade domain shook rapidly. Both of them kept retreating. Lin Xian performed the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and quickly dodged. At the same time, he opened the dragon's sword domain and formed the azure dragon divine shield to defend against all the violent energy. Ka ka ka! At this moment, a rumbling sound came from his body, and the destructive aura on his body suddenly skyrocketed. Great! Lin Xian was ecstatic. He realized that the Annihilation Black Dragon Fist had finally reached the minor accomplishment realm. If the elders of the Wavering Light, Sacred Ground, knew about it, their jaws would drop. The Annihilation Black Dragon Fist was a top Earth-class cultivation technique. Moreover, the requirements for martial artists were very strict. It could be said that it was very difficult to cultivate. Even in the Wavering Light, Sacred Ground, no one could cultivate it. Therefore, he exchanged this cultivation technique with Lin Xian, because he believed that no one could cultivate it. But now, Lin Xian had actually cultivated it. Not only did he cultivate it, but he also reached the minor accomplishment realm in an extremely short period of time. This was really unbelievable. But thinking about it, it was understandable. During this period of time, he had been using the Annihilation Black Dragon Fist to challenge all the geniuses. It could be said that the realm of the Annihilation Black Dragon Fist was completed in thousands of battles. There was not a trace of water. Feeling the destructive aura on his body become stronger, Lin Xian let out a long cry of excitement. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a huge black dragon, flying quickly in the sky. Haha, take another punch from me. Raging dragon, ripping the sky. This was the second killer move of the Annihilation Black Dragon Fist. In the sky, a huge black dragon appeared, waving its dragon claws, forming a powerful force as if it was going to tear the entire sky apart. That energy instantly enveloped Ding Peng. Not good. Ding Peng's face changed drastically, becoming incomparably pale. Originally, he was almost unable to hold on, but he did not expect that the other party would use another killer move now. This was simply unbearable for him. Therefore, in the next moment, he vomited blood and flew backward. Most of the bones in his body were broken. Not only that, as he flew backward with serious injuries, the saber light that filled the sky and the surrounding divine saber domain quickly disappeared. This shocking battle had also come to an end. The top genius of the 3 major sects, Ding Peng, was defeated. Without the divine saber domain, that violent energy immediately swept in all directions. At this moment, even the martial artists under the mountain range in the distance felt it. Everyone turned back and looked at the forest behind them. What happened? Could it be that someone is fighting? This energy is too terrifying. It seems to have surpassed the level of a 5-star king. Could it be that the 3 great geniuses have made a move? It's very likely. Everyone discussed spiritedly, but no one went to watch. Because there was not much time left, they had to wait here. Otherwise, if they missed the time, they would be eliminated. That would not be worth the loss. Therefore, although everyone was very curious, no one went to watch. Not only that, more and more martial artists gathered in this remote moon mountain range. In fact, there were many battles. Among them, of course, those who were defeated wanted to snatch the jade pendants. After all, it was not considered a failure until the last moment. However, those who could gather the complete jade pendants were all powerhouses, so those people could not beat them at all. However, at this moment, a figure appeared, attracting the attention of many people, because the other party was alone. However, the other party was not Ding Peng and the other 2 great geniuses, so people had to pay attention. At this moment, Countless eyes were all looking forward. Chapter 1660. Everyone was extremely puzzled. Countless gazes were directed to the front. And the person who appeared was naturally Lin Xian. He had won the battle with Ding Peng. He had obtained a large number of supreme-grade, subdivine crystals. However, he didn't have time to cultivate, so he had to complete the first round first. Therefore, he came to the remote Moon Mountain Range. This kid should be the guy from Dawnzone, right? I didn't expect him to be able to come here. Yeah, it's not easy for him to come here with his cultivation. Humph! What's the use of coming here? He's alone, and his cultivation isn't high. I guess the jade pendant on him is long gone. Do you think he's the Demon King? Someone raised his doubts. After all, the Demon King also acted alone. What a joke! After everyone heard this, they shook their heads and snorted coldly. If he's the Demon King, I'll eat this mountain directly. They didn't believe it at all, because from the way the Demon King acted, his strength was at least at the level of the 3 great geniuses. The young man in front of them had a pitifully weak cultivation. How could he be the Demon King? After Lin Xian heard this, he smiled and didn't say anything, because he didn't intend to reveal his identity as the Demon King, because that would cause everyone to besiege him. In the distance, Chu Yu also smiled when she saw Lin Xian return safely. Junior brother Lin. She waved happily. However, the 2 personal disciples beside Chu Yu had unkind expressions on their faces. They even snorted coldly. This kid is really lucky to be able to come here alive. Humph. So what if he's here? Trash like him can't pass the first round at all. Kid, get lost. This is not a place where you can come. A disciple of the Lingshu sect shouted coldly. The others also sneered, not taking Lin Xian seriously at all. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes, raised his palm, and suddenly a sharp sword light slashed out. In an instant, the arrogant disciple was sent flying. Boom! The disciple flew out and knocked over a mountain. What? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. A 2-star king sent a 4-star king flying with a raise of his hand? Was this a F** king dream? At this moment, everyone's expressions were incomparably interesting. On the other hand, the corners of Chu Yu's mouth rose slightly. She had seen Lin Xian's strength before. Leaping ranks to battle and whatnot was not a problem for Lin Xian at all. However, the 2 personal disciples beside Chu Yu had gloomy expressions. They discovered that they had actually underestimated their opponent. However, soon after, they revealed disdainful smiles. So what if they could send 4-star King Tears flying? They weren't 4-star King Tears. They were 5-star King Tears. He even had an Earth Step artifact in his hands. It was definitely not something that the other party could contend against. Beside him, a huge boulder collapsed, forming a huge crater in the ground. The disciple who spoke arrogantly stood up shakily, his eyes filled with fear. He did not expect the other party to be so powerful, sending him flying with a single move. However, his 2 companions roared, "Brat, you're courting death!" After shouting coldly, the 2 of them started working frantically. They were a team of 3, yet one of them had actually been sent flying by a 2-star King Tier. Moreover, it was in front of everyone. This made them lose face. Therefore, they had to kill this brat in front of them to prove their strength. Traceless palm. One of them waved his palms, and flickering palm shadows quickly rushed toward Lin Xian. It was like a giant abyss beast, incomparably terrifying. The other person pressed his palms together, and a hazy light bloomed from his body. Instantly, the ground split open, and countless rocks turned into 2 large hands, quickly grabbing toward Lin Xian. In an instant, they wrapped around Lin Xian's legs. This was actually an earth element martial artist. The 2 of them attacked so suddenly that when everyone exclaimed, the terrifying energy was still enveloping Lin Xian. "It's over. This brat is dead for sure." The surrounding martial artists shook their heads. 2 4-star King Tears had attacked. a two-star king would definitely not be able to block it. In the distance, Chao Yun and the other personal disciples of Danzong also sneered. However, in the next moment, everyone was stunned. This was because several sharp sword lights surged out from Lin Xian's body and slashed forward. Puff! Puff! In the blink of an eye, the flickering palm shadows and the two giant stone hands were chopped into pieces. Not only that, the shocking sword lights turned into rainbows and pierced toward the two people who attacked. Buzz! Buzz! The two sword lights turned into sharp swords and pressed against the two people's throats. With just a little bit of force, the two of them would instantly lose their lives. What? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw the scene. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such means. The two people who attacked him were pale and covered in cold sweat. They were pressed against the two sharp swords, and when they felt the terrifying killing intent, they almost knelt on the ground. Stop! We were wrong, and we apologize to you. It was our fault before. Yes, we shouldn't have attacked you. Please let us go. The two of them quickly begged for mercy, no longer as arrogant as before. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect the situation to change like this. Lin Xian coldly snorted and withdrew the two sword lights with a wave of his sleeve. He did not intend to kill anyone. He only attacked to intimidate the surrounding people. Now he had achieved his goal. As expected, the gazes of the surrounding cultivators changed when they looked at Lin Xian. They became incomparably respectful. There was even a trace of fear in their eyes. Beside Chu Yu, the personal disciple called Chao Yun had a cold gaze. Lin Xian's strength had once again exceeded his expectations, and this made him very unhappy, especially since he had been pursuing Chu Yu recently, and Chu Yu had a good relationship with Lin Xian. Previously, Lin Xian was only a two-star king, so he did not take him seriously. But now, the other party had displayed such powerful strength. This made him nervous. Kid, why do you have such powerful strength? What relationship do you have with that demon king? Chao Yun gritted his teeth. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Indeed, thinking about it now, this youth was very suspicious. He was clearly only a two-star king, but his battle strength was incomparably powerful. Could it be that he was really that mysterious demon king? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and stared at the personal disciple, Chao Yun, with a cold glint in his eyes. The other party had provoked him time and time again. It seemed that he could not be lenient anymore. However, at this moment, Chu Yu quickly said, "Impossible! How could junior brother Lin be related to the Demon King? That Devil King is very arrogant. Furthermore, he used an extremely terrifying fist technique. But as far as I know, junior brother Lin is a swordsman. The cultivation techniques used by the two are completely different. Moreover, that Demon King's strength is comparable to the three great prodigies. You don't think that junior brother Lin has such strength, do you?" Chapter 16:61. Hearing that, everyone was silent. Indeed, Chu Yu was right. Although the young man in front of them could fight above his level, it was shocking. But no matter how they looked at it, he did not look like the mysterious Demon King. Both sides were different in terms of cultivation method and strength. Perhaps this was just a slightly more powerful Danzong disciple. Everyone's eyes flickered. However, at this moment, someone exclaimed, "Look, Ding Peng is here!" Ding Peng, one of the three great prodigies. He was even recognized as the leader of the three great prodigies, and his strength was incomparably powerful. He was also the person most likely to enter the Yaoguang sacred land in this sacred land selection. His arrival naturally attracted the attention of others. Even those personal disciples were nervous. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he looked back. The person who came from behind was indeed Ding Peng. At this moment, his external injuries had already healed, and he had also changed into a brand new robe, but his face was a little pale. He was like a bolt of lightning, quickly rushing towards the remote Moon Mountain range, ignoring everyone along the way. Boom! Soon, he landed on an open space. However, Ding Peng's emotions were unstable. A cold light bloomed in his eyes as he said coldly, "All of you get lost!" Finally, a surge of energy gushed out of his body, accompanied by a thunderous voice that swept in all directions. Everyone was shocked and all retreated. Even the personal disciples weren't spared. At the same time, a trace of fear arose in their hearts. What was going on? They did not know why Ding Peng was angry at others, but now no one dared to go forward, and all hid far away. What a joke! The other party was one of the 3 great prodigies, and his strength was incomparably terrifying, far surpassing them. At this moment, if they were targeted by the other party, they would probably be incomparably miserable. What's wrong with this Ding Peng? Even Dan Feng and Xiao Chen, who were in the crowd, frowned. The 2 of them naturally could not be compared to others. They could feel that Ding Peng's aura was unstable. This was completely different from the other party's state before. It was as if he had just experienced a great battle. What happened? Dan Feng and Xiao Chen glanced at each other. Both of their eyes were filled with deep doubts. However, at the side, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. Most likely, he was the only one present who knew what had happened. The reason why Ding Peng was, of course, because he was defeated in his hands. In the previous battle, he had won and Ding Peng had lost. Not only that, but Ding Peng had also suffered serious injuries. Most likely, the other party had paid a heavy price to recover more than half of his strength. Most importantly, he had snatched all of the substandard divine crystals and supreme grade substandard divine crystals from the other party. Right now, it was within his dragon sword domain. Thinking of this, Lin Xian stopped paying attention. Instead, he found a secluded place and sat down cross-legged to silently refine the subdivine crystal he had obtained. The harvest this time was even greater. As one of the 3 great prodigies, not only was Ding Peng's strength formidable, he was even richer. The number of top-grade substandard god crystals in his hands far exceeded that of the other direct disciples. Therefore, Lin Xian only needed to refine those supreme grade substandard divine crystals, and he would definitely be able to break through to the 3-star king realm. At that time, his strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. Thinking of this, Lin Xian did not delay and silently cultivated. A day later, the remote Moon Mountain Range was finally opened. Immediately, countless martial artists became excited, because this indicated that the first round of the sacred land selections was over. Lin Xian stood up as well. With a flash of his body, he flew forward. Among them, he sensed a few unfriendly gazes. Among them, there were Purple Sun Sect and Lingshu Sect. There were also some from Danzong. Among them, the sharpest gaze belonged to Danzong's direct disciple, Chao Yin. The killing intent in his eyes was not concealed at all. On the other hand, Lin Xian snorted in his heart. If Chao Yin dared to attack him, he would not mind killing him. Not long after, Lin Xian entered the remote Moon Mountain Range. He handed over the complete jade pendant and successfully passed the first round. Half a day later, the results were out. A total of 300 people had completed the test and passed the first round. Among them, all of the direct disciples had passed. As for the core disciples, more than half of them had been eliminated. This result could be said to be very cruel, because there were more than 300 disciples from the 3 sects participating in the test. Together, there were nearly 1,000 people. However, only about 300 people had passed an end. The success rate was only 1/3. Moreover, this was only the first round. The second and third rounds would be even crueler. This was the sacred land selections. Only by passing the real test could one enter the Yaoguang sacred land. Moreover, even if they had passed the first round, their hearts were heavy. This was because they knew that according to the previous rules, only 1 or 2 people would be able to enter the Yaoguang sacred land in the end. Therefore, they had to give it their all and even perform better than usual. After the first round ended, the second round did not start immediately. Instead, they were allowed to rest for 2 days to recover the energy they had expended in the first round. Lin Xian was even happier about this rule. He was worried that he did not have time to refine the subgrade divine crystals in his hands. Now that he had 2 days, it should be enough. As expected, on the evening of the second day, Lin Xian's aura suddenly skyrocketed and reached the 3-star king realm. His strength had also undergone an earth-shattering change. Currently, he could easily defeat a 5-star king. Even if he encountered a 6-star king, he could still put up a fight. This is great. Lin Xian was excited. I wonder if I will be able to contend with an almighty when I break through to the 4-star king realm. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. It was a quiet night. On the third day, the sun rose and everyone was excited again. This was because from today onwards, the second round of the assessment would begin. This time it was an arena elimination round. It tested the martial artist's endurance and physical strength. Of course, there was also a trace of luck. The location of the competition was a valley near the Hidden Moon Forest. Those disciples who had successfully passed the first round all followed the elders of their respective sects to this valley. The person in charge of the second round was the red-robed, middle-aged man from before. In addition, there were other martial artists who came from the Yaoguang sacred land. Their expressions were cold, and there was even a trace of arrogance in their eyes. This was because they were from the sacred land, even if they did not have a high status in the Yaoguang sacred land and were most likely just servants. However, in front of the disciples of the 3 sects, they were still very cold and arrogant. In the valley, there were 3 huge array arenas that shone brightly with powerful defensive barriers. These arrays came from the Yaoguang sacred land and had unfathomable power. They could withstand the attack of an almighty. It could be said that they were specially prepared for this round. Chapter 1662. Everyone would draw lots for the competition. However, the 3 prodigies were an exception. The 3 of them would not meet in the second round. Each of them would occupy an arena. Only the top 3 in each arena would be qualified to advance. In other words, only 9 out of the 300 people would successfully enter the third round. This elimination rate was even more terrifying. Everyone sucked in a deep breath. This was especially true for the personal disciples. Their eyes shone with a shocking light, because no matter what, they had to successfully break through, enter the third round, because the third round was very important. It was different from the first 2 rounds. The first 2 rounds were closed off, but the third round would be watched by the elders of the Radiance sacred land. As long as they performed well in the third round, even if they could not get first place, they might be noticed by the elders of the Radiance sacred land. Therefore, no matter what, they had to pass the second round and enter the third round. Lin Xian was not particularly excited about this, because even the strongest of the 3 prodigies, Dingpeng, had been defeated by him. Moreover, he was only a 2-star king at that time. Now that he had successfully broken through to 3-star king, he was even stronger than before. If he fought with Dingpeng now, he would probably be able to defeat him within 10 moves. However, he also had his own worries. That was Dan Chenzi and the entire Danzong. Firstly, it was because of the blue wave pill. Secondly, Dan Chenzi had given them another type of pill before they set off. That pill had reversed the longevity incantation in Lin Xian's body. This meant that there was something wrong with the pill. However, why would Dan Chenzi give that pill to all the core disciples? Moreover, it was during the sacred land selections. Dan Chenzi must be up to something. Moreover, Lin Xian had a premonition. He felt that Dan Chenzi would definitely do something shocking during the sacred land selections. Therefore, he had to be careful. Soon, the 3 arenas were divided. Ding Peng would be in the first arena. Xiao Cheng would be in the second arena. Dan Feng would be in the third arena. Lin Xian drew lots and was assigned to the third arena. The others also drew lots quickly and were evenly divided into the 3 categories. Among the personal disciples, Danzong's Chao Yin and Sima Tong were also assigned to the third arena. Among them, Chao Yin looked at Lin Xian with a cold smile. "Brat, it's best that I don't meet you in the arena, because if that's really the case, your death will come." Hearing Chao Yin's threat, many martial artists near the stage trembled. There was no helping it. As a personal disciple, Chao Yinqing's strength belonged to the extremely terrifying category. Anyone who was targeted by him would end up in a miserable state. Therefore, everyone couldn't help but sigh for Lin Xian. Lin Xian was expressionless. Even Ding Peng was no match for him now, let alone this Chao Yin in front of him. If he really met his opponent during the competition, he would just take care of him. Seeing that Lin Xian was expressionless and didn't respond, not even showing a trace of fear, Chao Yin's face instantly darkened. The other party actually dared to ignore him, which made him very unhappy. "Good kid, go ahead and be arrogant. You'll suffer when the time comes." After saying that, Chao Yin snorted coldly and stood to one side. Their arena number 3 had a tense atmosphere. The other two arenas were practically the same, because this was no longer the first round. In the first round, the sect generally wouldn't make a move, but this second round was different. Everyone was an opponent. They had to bring out their best strength to compete for the top 3 of each arena. Among them, Chu Yu was assigned to arena number 1. Also in arena number 1 was Su Ziting, who was good at setting up traps. In arena number 2, the more conspicuous people were the Huanling siblings. There was also Hong Yu. Apart from them, there were other personal disciples. For a moment, the scene was very lively. When everyone finished drawing lots and was assigned to the arena, the red-robed, middle-aged man from the Wavering Light, Sacred Land, stood on the high platform and looked down. Then he said in a clear voice, "Now the competition began." Following the voice, the 3 judges appeared on the ring like phantoms. Their auras were very strong, reaching 6-star King Realm. With such judges, 1 could prevent martial artists from cheating, and 2 could also prevent these sect disciples from being killed in the battle. After all, these disciples were all elite geniuses of the various sects to be able to reach this stage. It would be a pity to lose even one. As the 3 judges went on stage, the surrounding atmosphere also became tense. Everyone was extremely excited, wishing that they could immediately go on stage, use their ultimate techniques, and win the competition. However, in the next moment, they were all shocked. Because at this moment, the 3 people who went on stage were actually the 3 great prodigies. No one expected that the first round would actually be these 3 great prodigies. In arena number 1, Ding Peng was dressed in a green robe, and his entire person was incomparably fierce. His body was surrounded by a resplendent saber light, and his entire person was fierce and murderous. In arena number 2, there was a handsome young man in white. His expression was carefree, and his temperament was outstanding, like a banished immortal. In arena number 3, there was Danfeng. She was a beautiful woman in a 5-colored robe, and her every move carried a noble aura. Around her, there were countless flames surrounding her, as if she was the Queen of Flames. The 3 people's auras were powerful, as deep as the sea, and they were above everyone else. At this moment, everyone felt their hearts sink, as if 3 ancient mountains were pressing down on them. The other 3 disciples who went on stage shook their heads and sighed. The 3 of them were just ordinary core disciples, and they did not expect that the first round would actually be against the 3 great prodigies. However, they were not cowards. Even if the other party was a prodigy, the 3 of them still had to fight. Humph! In arena number 1, Ding Peng snorted coldly, and the aura on his body suddenly became fierce, as if he was a god of death. What's going on? Everyone was shocked, and their scalps went numb. They did not expect Ding Peng to emit such a terrifying aura. Even the referee started to frown. Only Lin Xian knew that Ding Peng was extremely depressed in his heart, and if he did not find someone to vent it on, he would probably suffer internal injuries. Ding Pang's eyes were fierce, but he did not draw his saber. He raised his fingers and waved quickly. Suddenly, a shocking and resplendent saber light quickly appeared. It was like a purple lightning slashing down from the sky. That cold sharpness caused everyone's hearts to tremble. At this moment, the entire valley was illuminated by this saber light. As for his opponent, a disciple whose strength had reached the level of a 5-star king, he roared furiously. He used his king's domain to form many defenses. He even took out an ancient shield and blocked in front of him. Facing Ding Pang's casual attack, this 5-star king used his full strength. However, he still could not block it. The purple saber light was incomparably fierce, and it cut through his opponent's king's domain. He crashed into the shield and sent both the person and the shield flying. Chapter 1663. Poor work. That 5-star king rolled down the arena, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood, his eyes full of horror. But fortunately, although Ding Pang went berserk, he did not deal a killing blow. That disciple was also only injured, and his life was not in danger. Seeing this scene, the disciples in the entire arena number 1 all sucked in a deep breath. Fortunately, Ding Pang had a sense of propriety and did not go completely crazy. Otherwise, their arena number 1 disciples would probably suffer a calamity. But even so, everyone's scalp still went numb, their hearts filled with horror. It wasn't just arena number 1. Arena number 2 and arena number 3 also ended their matches almost instantaneously. The 3 great prodigies' strength far surpassed everyone. Among them, arena number 2, the disciple did not catch sight of Xiao Cheng's figure at all and was sent flying with a kick. On the 3rd arena, the disciple who was fighting against Dan Feng was even more terrified, because in an instant he was surrounded by countless blazing flames. Those flames were very terrifying, as if they could refine his king domain at any time. The means displayed by the 3 great prodigies shocked everyone beyond belief. In fact, a feeling of being unable to resist even arose in their hearts. However, among these people, there was one exception, and that was Lin Xian. Lin Xian's current strength had long surpassed the 3 great prodigies. It was just that no one knew. At this moment, Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he nodded slightly. Indeed, among these 3 great prodigies, Ding Peng's strength was the strongest. Xiao Cheng and Dan Feng's strength were on par. Of course, this was merely judging from that strike, just now. As for whether Xiao Cheng and Dan Feng still had any trump cards, Lin Xian did not know. However, even if the other party had trump cards, Lin Xian did not care at all either. His current strength was already equivalent to a 6-star king, far surpassing these people. After the 3 great prodigies made their moves, the 3 arenas carried out normal matches. It could not be said that every match was extremely exciting, but every match was extremely intense. In these battles, every martial artist unleashed their full strength, fighting desperately. Before long, it was Lin Xian's turn to go on stage. His opponent was a youth with bronze-colored muscles. That majestic body was filled with explosive power. Not only that, but this young man also had a head of short brown hair, making him look extremely beautiful. When the brown-haired youth stepped onto the stage, it immediately caused a wave of exclamations. Even the Red Phoenix looked at him with rapt attention. It was obvious that this young man was not simple. Otherwise, the crowd would not have such an expression. Below the stage, a cold smile appeared on Chao Yun's face. Looks like there is no need for me to make a move. This brat is dead for sure. Yeah, I didn't expect him to meet a direct disciple of the Purple Sun Martial School. I have to say, this kid's luck is really not that good. That's right. That Lu Yuan's strength is formidable and terrifying. I'm afraid that anyone who fought with him would be seriously injured. This kid's fate will definitely not be good. Voices were heard one after another. Clearly, no one was optimistic about Lin Xian. Even Chu Yu, who was on the first stage, started to frown. She did not expect that Lin Xian would encounter such a troublesome opponent in his first match. The disciples of the Z-Sun house, on the other hand, began to cheer. Everyone had relaxed expressions on their faces. F***CK. Such a weak aura. I didn't expect Senior Brother Lu's first opponent to be so weak. Senior Brother Lu's luck is really good. I think he will be able to make it to the top 3 this time. How many moves do you think Senior Brother Lu will take to win? Nonsense, of course it will be 1 move. His opponent was too weak. He could not withstand 1 move at all. These people were very arrogant. They did not take Lin Xian seriously at all. The others also shook their heads and sighed. Apart from Chao Yun and a few others, the other disciples of the Danzong had ugly expressions on their faces. Damn this brat, he's a disgrace to the Danzong. Yeah, this kid is so weak. How did he make it to the 2nd stage? How strange. On the stage, Lu Yuan's face was also relaxed. There was even a disdainful smile on his face. Looks like my luck is really good. I met such a weakling in my first match. Kid, are you going to obediently scram down, or do you want me to throw you down with 1 punch? Lu Yuan looked down at Lin Xian with arrogance. However, Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was calm. The other party was just a personal disciple. He did not take him seriously. However, the other party's attitude made him very dissatisfied. Therefore, he snorted coldly. You talk too much nonsense. Hearing that, everyone was stunned. Then they sneered. This kid is really an idiot. How dare he provoke Lu Yuan? Looks like he's really dead this time. With Lu Yuan's strength, I'm afraid this kid will be bedridden for half a year. Chao Yun also sneered. What an idiot. On the stage, Lu Yuan's face turned gloomy when he heard Lin Xian's voice. Kid, you're courting death. In that case, I'll fulfill your wish. As he said that, he snorted coldly. His body bloomed with light. He took a step forward and threw a punch. Suddenly, a brown fist appeared in the air and blasted forward fiercely. That fist was incomparably resplendent, illuminating a corner of the sky. As a core disciple of the Purple Sun sect, Lu Yuan's cultivation had reached the level of a 5-star king. At this moment, his attack was incomparably terrifying. The entire void trembled. What a terrifying fist. Looks like Lu Yuan is really angry. That kid is dead for sure. Everyone cried out in surprise when they saw that scene. Even the referee on the 3rd stage had a flicker in his eyes, ready to save the kid at any time. Do you really think you're so great just because you're a personal disciple? Lin Xian sneered. His expression was calm and fearless. Then his palm was like a sword and quickly swung out. Suddenly, a green sword light flew out from his fingertips. It directly shattered the void and charged forward. There was a loud boom. The brown fist opposite him was actually slashed open by a sword. What? It was slashed open? That's impossible. Seeing that scene, everyone was stunned. They were all dumbstruck as if they had seen a ghost. Such a terrifying fist was actually slashed open by a sword? How did he do it? Even the referee was extremely surprised. He originally wanted to save the kid and prevent someone from dying. But now, it seemed that he didn't need to do anything. Damn it, that's impossible. The one who was the most surprised was Lu Yuan. He was very confident in his punch. He thought that it would definitely be able to seriously injure the other party, not to mention the kid opposite him. There were probably not many people of the same level who could block it. However, his fist was actually slashed open by the other party's sword. He couldn't believe it. Lin Xian sneered. Are you surprised? I can only say that you're short-sighted. If you have any trump cards, hurry up and use them. Otherwise, you won't have any chance. Lin Xian said indifferently. Chapter 1664. He did not use the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist, because once he used the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist, others would know that he was the Demon King. At this time, He did not want to cause trouble for himself. Moreover, even without the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist, Lin Xian's combat strength was still not reduced. The ultimate technique in his hands was very terrifying. However, hearing Lin Xian's words, Lu Yuan was abnormally angry. He was actually despised by a 3-star king? This made him unable to accept it. Therefore, he roared angrily and quickly attacked again. Thunderclap, divine kick. Lu Yuan rose into the air and kept waving his legs, forming a purple lightning bolt. In an instant, tens of thousands of lightning bolts intertwined in the sky, forming a huge lightning beast. It was earth-shattering as it quickly charged towards Lin Xian. Thunderclap, divine kick. This is Lu Yuan's ultimate technique. I didn't expect him to use it so quickly. It's over. It seems that Lu Yuan is really angry. This time that kid is definitely dead. A group of people discussed. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Your attack is only SOO. Is this what gives you the right to be arrogant? If that's the case, then you're really pitifully weak. As he spoke, Lin Xian waved his arm again. Suddenly, a resplendent sword light flew out quickly. This time, the sword light was even more dazzling and sharper. Like a peerless divine sword, it slashed down in the air. Boom! The huge sword chi slashed down, and the resplendent sword light enveloped the entire arena. In the next moment, a violent collision sound was heard. It was like thunder resounding in all directions. The tens of thousands of lightning bolts that filled the sky and countless terrifying leg shadows quickly cracked under the sword chi. There was nothing that could stop the sword. Impossible. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan's pupils constricted. He did not expect his ultimate technique to be broken by the other party in an instant. This made him unable to believe it. However, the sword chi that was rapidly descending from the sky made his hair stand on end. Now he finally knew that he had underestimated the other party. The other party's strength was definitely not weaker than his. In fact, the other party was even stronger than him. I was too careless, too careless. Lu Yuan roared madly. He still had his king's domain that he hadn't used yet. However, the sword chi was simply too fast. There was no time for him to think. He could only condense a simple armor in front of him to defend himself. Boom! However, he could not block this sword light at all. Another earth-shattering blast rang out, and Lu Yuan was sent flying while coughing up blood. There was a terrifying sword wound on his body that had almost split him in half. Silence, absolute silence. The entire number 3 arena fell into a deathly silence. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe it at all. It was as if they were dreaming. That was Lu Yuan. He was a personal disciple of the Purple Sun sect and had reached the level of a 5-star king. Furthermore, he had been severely injured by a single sword strike even after he had used an ultimate technique. This was too shocking. Senior brother Lu. The faces of the Purple Sun sect disciples changed drastically as they quickly ran over. As for the others, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. They looked at Lin Xian with fear in their eyes. Although he was a 3-star king, his battle prowess was no weaker than a direct disciple's. It seemed that this was definitely a powerful opponent. Damn it, how is this possible? How can he be so strong? Chao Yun's expression was gloomy as he gritted his teeth. This result was completely different from what he had expected. In his expectations, the winner of this match should be Lu Yuan. As for Lin Xian, he would be severely injured by a single punch, and his cultivation might even be crippled. But now, Lin Xian was completely fine. Not only that, he had even obtained victory with ease. This made him go crazy. There was even a trace of fear. His opponent's strength was actually equivalent to a direct disciple's. This was probably not good news. No, impossible. He can't be so strong. Lu Yuan must have been careless. Yes, it must be so. Chao Yun kept comforting himself. Damn brat, so what if you win this time? Don't meet me, or I'll personally finish you off. He gritted his teeth and swore that if he met Lin Xian, he would use his full strength to finish him off. In the arena, the referee was also very surprised. He took a deep look at Lin Xian and then announced that Lin Xian had won. This result not only stunned the third arena. Even the martial artists in the second and first arenas were moved and looked over at them. Great. I knew you would definitely win. In the first arena, Chu Yu was very happy. This brat is so strong. The other direct disciples were also nervous. However, there were also people who sneered disdainfully. After all, although Lu Yuan was a direct disciple, his ranking was relatively low. Among the direct disciples of the Purple Sun sect, he was ranked 9th. Therefore, the direct disciples who were ranked at the top did not take it to heart. Next, the competition continued. In the first arena, Chu Yu went up. She wore a light purple long dress and had a beautiful face like a fairy. Her opponent was a young man in yellow. Although his appearance was ordinary, the aura on his body was abnormally strong. Very clearly, this person was the same as Chu Yu, also a direct disciple of the Spirit Void sect. The moment the yellow-clothed youth went up, he said with a smile, "I didn't expect that it's actually the famous Fairy Chu Yu of the 3 sections. However, Fairy Chu Yu's alchemy skills are impressive, but your combat strength is probably a little lacking." Cut the crap. Whether I'm lacking or not, we'll only know after we fight. Chu Yu gave a delicate cry. Immediately, purple flames appeared around her and rapidly revolved around her. What? This flame is an innate spirit fire. Seeing this purple flame, everyone cried out in surprise. Even the expression of the yellow-robed youth opposite her became incomparably ugly. He did not expect that Chu Yu actually had such a terrifying flame in her hands. With this innate spirit fire, Chu Yu's combat strength increased by several levels. Therefore, in just 10 moves, the yellow-clothed youth was defeated. Another dark horse. Everyone's hearts were solemn, especially those direct disciples. Each and every one of them was like facing a great enemy. Previously, there was Lin Xian, who displayed a powerful sword Dao aura. Now, there was another Chu Yu who actually grasped a terrifying flame like the innate spirit fire. It could be said that this second round was really shocking. Would there be any more dark horses surging out next? The competition progressed quickly. Soon, it was Chao Yun's turn in the third arena. Chao Yun was a young man with a hooked nose and a cold expression. He wore a cloud brocade robe. His entire body emitted a cold and sharp aura. His opponent was from the High Void sect. He was not a direct disciple, but his strength was not weak either, reaching the level of a 5-star king. Chao Yun snorted coldly. With a flip of his palm, he took out a golden cauldron. The golden cauldron emitted a resplendent light. Accompanying it were streaks of golden flames that were incomparably terrifying. Chapter 16, 65. The golden cauldron emitted a dazzling light. Along with it were streaks of golden flames, which were extremely terrifying. As soon as it appeared, the entire void began to tremble. Boom! With a wave of his sleeve, the golden flames flew out of the cauldron and intertwined in the air. They formed a huge golden hand and grabbed forward. The flaming hand covered the sky and the earth. It was extremely fierce and emitted a terrifying aura. On the other side, the 5-star king from the Lingshu sect moved and used the Lingshu divine steps. For a moment, countless figures appeared in the arena. These were the afterimages, left behind because they were too fast. However, it was useless. The golden flaming hand covered the sky and the earth, enveloping the entire space. As the palms slammed down, terrifying flames surged and directly sent that 5-star king flying from the void. Puff! That person's face turned pale as he flew out of the arena. Whoosh! The crowd exclaimed again. They did not expect Qiao Yun's strength to be so terrifying. He defeated his opponent in one move. Humph! Qiao Yun put away the golden cauldron and raised his chin arrogantly. He glanced coldly at Lin Xian with killing intent in his eyes. Then he waved his sleeve and walked out of the arena. The competition continued. Next, Lin Xian went on the arena a few more times and easily defeated his opponents. For a moment, he became famous and more people paid attention to him. However, at this moment, a cry of surprise came from the second arena. A personal disciple of the Danzong sect was kicked out of the arena. This scene caused everyone to be stupefied. What? In just one move, the personal disciple of the Danzong sect was defeated. Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. This sensation was comparable to the battle where Lin Xian sent Lu Yuan flying with a sword. Even Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked into the distance. Then he was extremely surprised. This was because he was very familiar with the young man who attacked. It was Hong Yu, whom he had investigated before. Hong Yu was also there. He was shocked. Previously, he had wondered why the sect would investigate such a young man. Later, in the ancient city of Hanyang, he found that Hong Yu was an extremely powerful seeker spirit master. His eye technique was even more unfathomable. Who would have thought that the other party would appear in the Holy Land selections? But why did the sect want to investigate this young man? Lin Xian was extremely confused. Could it be that Dan Chenzi was plotting something against this young man? He couldn't figure it out, so he could only secretly observe the other party. Soon, Lin Xian went on stage again. This time, the cultivator in arena number 3 also cried out in surprise, because they knew that this battle would be extremely exciting. That was because Lin Xian's opponent this time was none other than Qiao Yun, who had been releasing killing intent the entire time. Unexpectedly, the two of them finally met in the arena. Instantly, all sorts of discussions broke out. This is going to be interesting. One of them is a dark horse that has just appeared, while the other is a powerful veteran direct disciple. I wonder who will win this battle. That goes without saying. It's definitely Qiao Yun. The strength he displayed now was no weaker than the top 5 existences. Furthermore, that golden flame should also be a type of innate spirit fire. It was absolutely terrifying. That's right. No matter how strong that kid named Lin Xian is, I'm afraid he won't be able to compete with him. Moreover, it seems that the two of them have a conflict. I think that Qiao Yun won't go easy on him. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Even the cultivators in the first and second arenas who were not competing for the time being were gathering there. Even Dan Feng was paying close attention to the battle. This was because the ones fighting this time were all Danzong's disciples. However, subconsciously, she still felt that Qiao Yun had a higher chance of winning this battle. In the arena, Qiao Yun sneered. "Kid, I finally met you. This is the time of your death." Lin Xian said indifferently, "I don't know why you're hostile to me. However, since you dared to have designs on me, you'll have to pay the price." "Pay the price? You really don't know what's good for you. Do you really think that you can be arrogant just because you defeated Lu Yuan? Let me tell you that Lu Yuan is only a personal disciple ranked at the bottom. He's no match for me at all. My strength is definitely not what you can imagine. So, just wait for your death obediently. If you're done talking nonsense, then let's do it." Lin Xian shook his head slightly, not taking to heart. He really did not care about the other party. That was not a deliberate disdain, but a disdain in terms of strength. However, when Qiao Yuan saw that, he flew into a rage. "Kid, die for me!" With a furious roar, he displayed the golden cauldron and slammed it hard. Immediately, golden flames gushed out rapidly all over the sky. It formed a large golden flame net and shrouded downward. That large flame net sparkled with golden light, and the heat was overwhelming. Following that, The entire void trembled violently, unable to withstand this energy at all. So strong! Looking at the attack, probably not many people of the same level could take it, right? This Chao Yun's innate spirit fire was really terrifying. It's over, that kid is dead for sure. But Lin Xian's expression was calm. He still had his hands behind his back, looking at the large golden flame net that was rapidly descending from the sky. Following that, he gave a light cry, and a black light immediately gushed out of his body. The moment those black lights appeared, they immediately formed countless black flames, burning fiercely in the air. The black flames were incomparably pitch black, emitting terrifying energy. The moment they appeared, the entire void collapsed instantly. What a terrifying flame! What kind of flame is this, to actually make my hair stand on end? Sure enough, he has flames too. It was just that they did not expect that the other party's flames were actually so powerful. Everyone was extremely shocked and discussed animatedly. However, no one knew what the black flames were. At this moment, even the red phoenix furrowed her brows too. To be honest, she also did not recognize what kind of flame this black flame was. However, that terrifying energy caused her expression to become extremely grave. This black flame was naturally Lin Xian's 9 underworld devil flames. The moment it appeared, it turned into a long black flame, sword under Lin Xian's control, swiftly slashing upward. The sword light surged to the sky. The sea of fire was like waves. The moment the sword slashed out, the entire void trembled rapidly, as if it would be torn apart at any time. Boom! The black flame demonic sword directly slashed on the large golden net. Immediately, sparks splattered everywhere and the void trembled. That incomparably terrifying golden flame, condensed into a large golden net, was actually cut apart at this moment. What? It was cut apart. Everyone was shocked, their scalps tingling. Even Chao Yun's pupils constricted abruptly, looking like he had seen a ghost. His golden flame was incomparably terrifying. Very few people could contend with it. However, the other party's flame was actually even stronger than his, breaking through his attack in an instant. Damn it, how is this possible? What the hell is that black flame? Chao Yun's expression was incomparably ugly. Chapter 1666. Damn it, how is this possible? What exactly is that black flame? Chao Yun's expression was extremely ugly. In the next moment, he controlled the golden cauldron in his hand and attacked again. Clang! An earth-shattering sound was heard. The entire golden cauldron quickly enlarged and shook non-stop. A bright light shot into the sky. It was an earth-rank treasure. At this moment, Chao Yun was using it with terrifying power. Golden light bloomed all over its body. Together with the golden flame, it quickly emitted a terrifying energy. Then, a golden light blade quickly surged out and slashed forward. The void was torn apart in an instant. The golden light blade was like a golden divine knife that fell from the sky. It was unstoppable. Die, brat! Countless golden blades of light shot towards Lin Xian at high speed. However, Lin Xian was still not afraid. He quickly formed a seal with his palms, and suddenly, countless black flames condensed. Then, a black lion flew out from his fingertips. It instantly grew bigger with the wind, like a black flaming mountain that appeared in the air and quickly pounced forward. Roar! The flaming lion roared angrily, shaking heaven and earth. It shook the surrounding warriors so much that their blood surged and they could not stand steadily. In the next moment, that huge body collided with the golden light blades that filled the sky, and a thunderous sound was heard. However, when the two collided, Lin Xian's skill was still a level higher. The black lion smashed all the golden light with a slap. Then it quickly charged toward Chao Yun. Damn it, this is impossible. Chow Yun's expression changed drastically. The other party had broken his attack again. This was unbelievable. Moreover, looking at the other party's calm appearance, it seemed that the other party had not used his full strength. This made it even more unbearable for him. However, he did not have time to care about this now. That was because the black flaming lion had already pounced toward him. The incomparably terrifying black flame directly sealed off his escape route. He could not dodge it all and could only take it head-on. With a furious roar, Chow Yun slapped out 18 times in a row, all of which hit the golden cauldron in front of him. Suddenly, the golden cauldron quickly expanded and emitted a bright light. It was as if a golden wall stood in front of him. This golden cauldron was indeed extraordinary. As an earth-rank treasure, it was releasing a terrifying power at this moment. It was like the sun, illuminating the front. Clang! In the next moment, the black flaming lion collided with the golden pill cauldron, causing a shocking tremor. That voice shocked everyone, causing them to continuously retreat. Countless black cracks appeared in the surrounding void due to this sound. The golden pill cauldron was an earth-step treasure. It was impossible for it to break. However, under this astonishing power, he was still rapidly retreating. Behind Pill Cauldron, Chow Yun was even worse off. He was knocked back several steps and vomited blood. Seeing the scene, everyone sucked in a cold breath. Powerful, he's too powerful. No one expected that Chow Yun would be injured in just a few moves. Who is that kid? Why is it so terrifying? That's Lin Xian, right? He actually surpassed Chow Yun. With this strength, he can definitely be ranked in the top 5. Maybe he can be ranked in the top 3. Dark horse. This is definitely a big dark horse. At this moment, everyone was talking about it. Even the martial artists in the first and second arenas in the distance were paying close attention. Among them, Hong Yu's eyes flickered as he stared at the battle. The Huan Ling siblings raised the corners of their mouths slightly, revealing a trace of a sneer. In fact, even Xiao Cheng and Ding Peng glanced toward them. In the arena, Chow Yun's face was pale, and his eyes were full of ferocity. Impossible! Damn it, how could I be injured? He was incomparably crazy. Kid, you dare to hurt me? I want you to die. With a roar, he quickly took out a pill and swallowed it. At the same time, his body shone with light. A golden flame domain instantly enveloped the entire arena. At this point, Chow Yun couldn't help but be shocked. He had to use his last resort. As soon as the golden flame domain came out, it immediately carried monstrous energy. At this moment, the entire arena space was completely filled with a sea of fire. Even the black lion was hit countless times, and even its light became incomparably dim. It seems that this Chow Yun is going all out. Yeah, even the king domain is displayed. It's definitely going to be an all-out attack. I wonder what Lin Xian's king domain is like. Everyone was paying close attention. In the arena, Chow Yun displayed the king domain and regained his confidence. He was like the king of heaven and earth. Haha, kid, in my king domain, I am the ruler. This time, let's see what you have to contend with me. He roared and clasped his hands together. Suddenly, the king domain trembled, and 2 golden flame hands surged out and slammed down on the black lion. It was immediately extinguished. Ha ha ha, let's see how you fight. After extinguishing the black flame lion, Chow Yun sneered. Then he controlled the 2 golden flaming hands and slammed them forward. In an instant, they were above Lin Xian. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. I originally wanted to play with you, but since you want to end it early, I'll fulfill your wish. As he spoke, a green light appeared behind him. Then, the dragon's sword domain was quickly displayed. Buzz! As soon as the dragon's sword domain appeared, tens of thousands of sword rays rushed into the sky. It was as if they were going to tear the space apart. That terrifying sword chi was incomparably sharp. and it suppressed the surrounding golden flames to the point that they dimmed significantly. It was not the flame domain, but the sword domain. Is this guy a swordsman? The surrounding disciples cried out in surprise again, because the black flames that Lin Xian displayed before were very terrifying. They thought that Lin Xian's king domain should also be a kind of flame domain. However, to everyone's surprise, what Lin Xian unleashed was actually a sword domain. Moreover, looking at the sharp aura, it was definitely something that only a swordsman could possess. F***CK. No wonder this guy's combat strength is so strong. He's actually a swordsman. Everyone was shocked, because even if a swordsman reached the king realm, his combat strength was still very strong among the same level. Seeing that his golden flame domain had dimmed a lot, Chao Yun gritted his teeth. Then he snorted coldly, and the spiritual energy in his body quickly focused on the domain. So what if you have a sword principal domain? In front of my innate spirit fire, everything will turn to ashes. Chao Yun waved his hand, and suddenly the entire golden flame domain trembled rapidly. Then they quickly circled around the golden cauldron, forming a golden flaming mountain that pressed down. This was the king domain, and the attack that was displayed together with the earth-grade treasure was extremely terrifying. It's over. Lin Xian looked calm, and then two illusory figures appeared in his dragon sword domain. Chapter 1667. One was a red figure, and the other was an orange figure. This was the six-god sword technique, and Lin Xian had already practiced it to the second level. He could summon two sword god phantoms to attack. As soon as the two sword god phantoms appeared, the dragon's sword domain also instantly rolled. Half of it formed red sword chi, and the other half formed orange sword chi. Then, accompanied by the two sword god phantoms, they quickly formed two huge sword chi and slashed forward. Buzz! Two huge sword chis formed in the shape of a cross and quickly slashed forward, colliding with the golden flaming mountain above. Clang! A violent vibration sounded. In the next moment, the two sword god phantoms bloomed with light, and the sword chi in their hands was even more powerful and sharp. The flame mountain was directly cut open. The golden pill cauldron was blasted out, and the entire flame domain was cut open with two terrifying cracks. Puff! Chao Yun instantly flew out as if he was struck by lightning. He vomited a large mouthful of blood. The flame domain was broken, causing him to suffer heavy injuries. What? The domain was broken? How is this possible? Around him, the others were also shocked, their scalps tingling in disbelief. They knew that Lin Xian was very strong, and they also knew that the other party might win. But they did not expect that the other party was actually strong to such an extent, directly opening the golden flame domain. This kind of method was probably too terrifying. Is this the power of a swordsman? It's too terrifying. No, ordinary swordsmen don't have this kind of power at all. This kid's combat strength is too strong. His king domain is very strange. That sharp aura makes people feel extremely uncomfortable. Exclamations sounded one after another, and Chao Yu fell outside the ring and directly fainted. At this moment, even Dan Feng could not remain calm. She stood up with a bang, her beautiful eyes like lightning, staring closely at Lin Xian. Unexpected, it was really too unexpected, because previously she judged that Chao Yun would win this match, but she did not expect the result to be the opposite. Who exactly is this kid? How can he have such powerful combat strength? Dan Feng's eyes flickered, looking at Lin Xian, frowning. This was the first time she paid attention to the other party. Not only her, even Chu Yu was extremely shocked. Although she was more familiar with Lin Xian, she didn't know that Lin Xian actually possessed such terrifying combat strength. Therefore, at this moment, her little mouth was slightly agape with a shocked expression. Not only Chuyu, but Hong Yu's eyes also flickered. To be honest, he thought that he was the biggest dark horse this time. However, he did not expect that Lin Xian's strength would also exceed his expectations. Therefore, at this moment, he was paying extra attention. As if sensing Hong Yu's gaze, Lin Xian also turned to look back. In the next moment, their gazes collided in the air, producing a resounding sound and sparks flying everywhere. In fact, even the entire void was rippling. So strong! Everyone was shocked. These should be the two biggest dark horses of the second stage, right? I wonder who would be stronger if the two of them met. Everyone was shocked and began to discuss spiritedly. Indeed, apart from Lin Xian, Hong Yu was also a dark horse. Many personal disciples had already been defeated by him. Hong Yu specializes in eye techniques and soul attacks, while Lin Xian's combat strength is incomparably strong. The two of them specialize in different areas and can be said to have their own strengths. Therefore, just based on the current situation, it's still impossible to determine who is stronger? Perhaps only when the two of them enter the top 3 and enter the third stage will the victor be decided. A personal disciple said in a deep voice. It was obvious that both Lin Xian and Hong Yu brought great pressure to them. On the other side, Hong Yu felt Lin Xian's gaze and took a deep breath. His expression was extremely solemn. What a powerful sword intent! Hong Yu exclaimed in his heart. Ordinary kings, and even personal disciples, would be shaken by his gaze. However, this time his eye technique seemed to have failed. Lin Xian's gaze was firm and sharp, and he did not move at all. He is indeed a difficult opponent. Hong Yu was shocked and listed Lin Xian as one of the strongest opponents. His goal was also to enter the wavering light sacred land, so he had to get first place. Previously, he thought that his greatest enemy was the 3 prodigies. He did not expect another Lin Xian to appear. On the other side, Lin Xian was also shocked. One had to know that he had the dragon sword soul in his body, and his gaze was as sharp as a sword. Ordinary kings would not be able to withstand the sharpness of his gaze. However, Hong Yu was fine. It was indeed shocking. This Hong Yu's eye technique is very strange. I think his soul power is also very strong. I just don't know what level his strength has reached. Lin Xian thought to himself. He found that he had found an interesting opponent this time. Based on his estimation, the strongest ones here were the 3 heavens favorites. However, Hong Yu seemed to be stronger than the 3 prodigies. Interesting. I wonder if I can exchange blows with him. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. The competition continued, and the atmosphere became intense again. Next, Dan Feng made her move. She did not move at all. She just waved her finger, and flames that filled the sky immediately surrounded the opponent. Under that kind of flame, the person fighting did not dare to resist at all and could only admit defeat obediently. Not long after, an ice-cold saber light lit up on the first arena again. It was like a 1,000-year-old cold pool, cold to the bone. This was Ding Peng's move. Another saber strike finished off the opponent. The next battle, Hong Yu against Mu Feng. As soon as this voice came out, the surroundings were in an uproar. Many people gathered towards the second arena. Lin Xian also turned his head and looked there. The next moment he showed a trace of surprise. He knew Hong Yu, but he had never heard of that Mu Feng. He originally thought that Mu Feng was just an ordinary core disciple, and everyone was watching the battle because of Hong Yu. But soon, Lin Xian discovered that his idea was wrong, because the one on the stage was a black-robed man. He was very familiar with this black-robed man and had even fought with him before. It was the black-robed youth of the Phantom Siblings. So this youth is called Mu Feng. Lin Xian muttered, his eyes flickering. That's right, This Mu Feng was the black-robed youth of the phantom siblings, and that woman in white was called Bai Ling. The names of these two people could be said to be very resounding in the three major sections. Apart from Ding Peng and the other two prodigies, few were their match, because these two people's divine abilities were seriously too strange. Illusory and corporeal, they could turn any one of them into an illusory physique, ignoring attacks. This gave people a headache. Therefore, when everyone learned that Hong Yu's opponent this time was actually Mu Feng, they all cried out in surprise. Chapter 1668 F***CK I didn't expect Mu Feng to actually appear too. That Hong Yu is probably going to lose. No one can break Mu Feng's divine ability. Yeah, I originally thought that this dark horse could win all the way. Now it seems that it's really hanging. I'm afraid that apart from Ding Peng and the other two prodigies, no one can beat this phantom siblings. No, there's also that mysterious demon king. Someone added. Hearing this, on the stage, Mu Feng's face turned black. This matter had indeed driven them crazy for a long time. The other party was really too powerful. However, that kind of person was incomparably terrifying and could be counted on one's fingers. Moreover, the other party should not come to participate in this second round's battle. Therefore, they still had a great advantage among the personal disciples. Until now, they had not lost. Hee, kid, your good luck ends here. Mu Feng looked at Hong Yu in front and said in a cold voice, It's your good luck that's over. Hong Yu snorted coldly. Previously, you could win all the time because you didn't meet me. Now, you'll definitely lose this match. Hearing this, the crowd also burst into an uproar. They did not know where Hong Yu's confidence came from. Mu Feng also sneered, Kid, you're too confident. You can't hurt me at all. However, you actually dare to speak so arrogantly in front of me. I have to teach you a good lesson. Cut the crap, come here and die. Hong Yu snorted coldly. Although he was only 14 or 15 years old, the aura that he displayed at this moment was abnormally powerful. It made people forget his age. With a cold shout, Hong Yu's eyes bloomed with light, forming a faint golden light. Not only that, there were also mysterious Tao patterns emerging. Ocular technique? Humph, it's useless against me. Mu Feng had long begun to pay attention to Hong Yu, this dark horse. Therefore, he was not surprised that the other party used ocular technique. With a cold snort, his entire person turned into a gust of wind and quickly charged forward. Purple sun splitting sky, Mu Feng formed a seal with both hands. In the palm of his hand, a purple sun quickly emerged, emitting a terrifying aura. Boom! With a slap, the purple sun was like a huge mountain, pressing down fiercely. The entire void was crushed in an instant, and the purple aura completely enveloped Hong Yu. While Hong Yu raised his head, his eyes shining brightly. Soon he discovered a flaw in the attack. Therefore, his body swayed and moved to the left. When he was 3 meters away, he threw a punch. Through his ocular technique, he knew that this was the weakest point of the attack. This was indeed the case. After shattering the purple light with a punch, Hong Yu instantly left the danger zone. What? He dodged it! Everyone exclaimed. This Hong Yu is indeed formidable. He can contend against Mu Feng. Looks like this will be a battle between a dragon and a tiger. Not necessarily. Hong Yu's eye technique is impressive, but Mu Feng's ability to switch between illusion and reality is even more terrifying. I'm afraid no one will be able to break it. Sure enough, Hong Yu struck out a series of flickering palm shadows, attacking forward. In the end, Mu Feng didn't dodge at all. His body turned illusory as he passed through all the attacks and attacked again. Haha, it's useless. You can't hurt me at all. Mu Feng's mastery of switching between reality and illusion was incomparably skilled. Therefore, after dodging those attacks, he instantly appeared beside Hongyu. His body solidified once again, and the purple sun in his hand rapidly smashed down. Boom! Hongyu snorted coldly and waved his fists. Immediately, golden lightning surged out and collided with the purple sun. A shocking explosion sounded. Mu Feng's body turned illusory again, and he didn't receive any damage. On the other hand, Hongyu kept retreating. Seeing this scene, the crowd exclaimed. As expected, Mu Feng's ability to switch between reality and illusion is too strange. Even a dark horse like Hongyu can't break it. Yeah, looks like Mu Feng will definitely win this battle. Not necessarily. Hongyu specializes in soul attacks and is incomparably strange. Maybe he can turn the tables. In the arena, Mu Feng sneered. Kid, you'll definitely lose in front of me. Also, don't count on your soul attack because it's useless against me. Saying this, he waved his hand and a palm-sized copper lamp floated in the air. The copper lamp was very ancient and had mysterious patterns on it. At the mouth of the lamp, there was a ball of orange flame that burned slowly. It emitted a strange power. The misty light enveloped Mu Feng's entire body. With this copper lamp, I won't have to fear your soul attack. Seeing the copper lamp, the crowd exclaimed, What treasure is that? Could it be that it's a treasure that specializes in defending against soul attacks? It must be so. Looking at Mu Feng's confident expression, it should be so. Damn, this treasure is even more precious than an Earth-rank treasure. This Mu Feng actually has it. How shocking! Indeed, normally, soul attacks were strange and difficult to defend against. But Mu Feng actually had a treasure that could defend against soul attacks. It was indeed enviable. Below the arena, the white-clothed woman, Bai Ling, also had a smug smile on her face. Humph, if you want to beat my brother, you'll have to cultivate for a few more years. Not only Bai Ling, but at this moment, everyone thought that Hongyu would definitely lose, because his soul attack was countered. It was obvious that the other party had come prepared. A soul defensive treasure? In the arena, Hongyu narrowed his eyes, and a faint golden light surrounded him. He smiled coldly as well. Do you really think you can defend yourself against my eye technique with a mere copper lamp? You're too naive. Next, I'll let you know what a true eye technique attack is. In the next moment, the golden light in Hongyu's eyes shone even brighter, and it kept spinning like a golden tadpole. Buzz! Hongyu raised his head and looked forward. Opposite him, Mu Feng had a look of disdain and was not afraid at all. Because he had the copper lamp, he was not afraid of any soul attacks. However, in the next moment, his expression changed drastically, because when he saw Hongyu's golden eyes, he was completely stunned. In the next moment, his body trembled, and his soul power seemed to be absorbed. The scene around him also changed in an instant. It was no longer an arena, and there were no surrounding martial artists. Instead, it was a dark secret room. Oh no, I've been hit. As a personal disciple, Mu Feng was experienced and knowledgeable. When he saw this scene, he naturally knew that he had been hit by his opponent's eye technique. But how was this possible? He clearly had the copper lamp's protection, so how could he still be hit? He could not understand. However, in the next moment, the dark secret room suddenly had four golden bolts of lightning surge out, turning into golden chains that bound his limbs. Then he hung in the air. Hongyu's figure also appeared in front of him. I told you, your copper lamp can't defend against my eye technique. Chapter 1669. Hongyu's figure also appeared in front of him. I told you, your copper lamp can't defend against my eye technique. Impossible. I spent a lot of money to buy that copper lamp. I've used it many times, and it's effective every time. Why can't it defend against your eye technique? Mu Feng was hanging in the air, roaring crazily. That's because my eye technique isn't something that ordinary soul attacks can compare to, Hong Yu said coldly. Then he waved his hand, and a golden sword appeared. This is the soul space I created. It's different from outside. Even if a day passes here, it's only a second outside. So enjoy the torture. After saying that, Hong Yu held his golden sword and stabbed it into Mu Feng's body. In the arena, Hong Yu raised his head and glanced at his opponent indifferently. In the next moment, Mu Feng's body trembled and his face turned pale. He suddenly half knelt on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. What's going on? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They did not expect Mu Feng to suddenly be injured. What's going on? Could it be that Hong Yu made a move? But I didn't find anything at all. Everyone was shocked. However, there were also experts with grave nerves. No, it's an eye technique. Mu Feng was hit by an eye technique. What? An eye technique? Everyone was stunned. How is this possible? Doesn't Mu Feng have the copper lamp to protect him? Even Bai Ling was in a state of panic. Impossible, that copper lamp is incomparably mysterious. It can definitely defend against soul attacks. How did my brother get injured? She naturally knew the mystery of the copper lamp, but now it seemed that her brother had indeed been hit by a soul attack. Otherwise, there was no way to explain the situation in front of them. However, if this was true, then it was too inconceivable. Was the other party's eye technique already so powerful? At this moment, not to mention the ordinary core disciples, even the personal disciples turned pale with fright. Even Ding Peng and Dan Feng had serious expressions on their faces. To be honest, they did not expect the battle situation to change like this, because previously they were very optimistic about Mu Feng. What a strange eye technique! Ding Peng's eyes narrowed as his entire body exuded a piercingly cold saber intent. How did he do it? The Red Phoenix's expression was also ice-cold. Flames surrounded her. This matter was too strange. If she encountered it, would she be able to resolve it? She didn't know, so she stared straight ahead. Even Lin Xian was extremely surprised. He was aware of Mu Feng's strength. In other words, he was the strongest after the three heavens' favorites. However, he did not expect that he would be defeated so easily. This caused Lin Xian to be extremely shocked. Therefore, he looked at Hong Yu, his expression flickering. What kind of eye technique was this? Golden eyes. He had some understanding of eye techniques. That was because he had learned some simple eye techniques in the past. Furthermore, Zhao Shui's virtual sky eye was also an extremely powerful eye technique. However, he had never seen golden eyes like Hong Yu's before. Even he was extremely shocked by its might. In the arena, Hong Yu said indifferently, "I've already said that you're not my match. You can't defend against my eye technique at all." On the opposite side, Mu Feng's body was trembling nonstop. He seemed to be in a trance. It was obvious that his soul power had suffered heavy damage. "Damn it, who are you? What's this move called?" Mu Feng gritted his teeth. He had never encountered such a powerful eye technique. "My name is Hong Yu. One day, my name will resound throughout the eastern wilderness. And the move from before is called 10,000 years. 10,000 years. Mu Feng gritted his teeth and whispered, as if he was recalling these words. Then he said in a deep voice, "You're very powerful. I've lost this battle." Hearing this, the crowd was in an uproar. They could not believe it. The phantom siblings who were hailed as the favorites, Mu Feng, had actually lost. At this moment, everyone looked at Hong Yu with incomparable horror, because they did not know what had happened just now. But without exception, it was an extremely terrifying eye technique. Perhaps no one could defend against it. At this moment, even Ding Peng and Red Phoenix could not remain calm. They quickly sent a voice transmission to Xiao Cheng. "What kind of eye technique is that? It's actually so terrifying." Xiao Cheng also smiled bitterly and quickly responded, "To be honest, I don't know either. My junior brother Hong, you came to the sect a year ago. Not long after, he was conferred as a personal disciple. His eye technique was very mysterious. He was even highly regarded by the sect master. I don't know the details, but I think that move should be an illusion. Illusion? Hearing that, Ding Peng and Red Phoenix's expressions changed, falling into deep thought. They thought wrong. Originally, they thought that Hong Yu's eye technique should belong to an extremely powerful attack type. Did not expect that it was actually an illusion. Eye techniques were also divided into two types. One was an illusion type, the other was a physical type that leaned toward attacking. These two types each had their own merits. The physical type attack was powerful, even more terrifying than ordinary attacks, while the illusion type was incomparably strange and impossible to guard against. The slightest carelessness would cause one to fall for it. Did not expect that Hong Yu's eye technique was actually an illusion type attack. Ding Peng and Red Phoenix did not ask anymore, but fell into deep thought. As the eldest personal disciples, they had many skills, some of which were secret skills that could resist illusion attacks. However, they did not know if it would work in front of Hong Yu's golden eyes. On the other hand, Lin Xian also guessed that Hong Yu had used an illusion type attack. Then he thought to himself, I have the great dragon sword soul, which is invincible and can destroy everything. I think it should be able to deal with any illusion. Thinking of that, his eyes lit up. He was really looking forward to fighting with Hong Yu. To be honest, it was the first time Lin Xian looked forward to fighting with someone. Moreover, it was the first time he had seen a real genius. Hong Yu was only 15 or 16 years old, younger than him, but his strength was not inferior to his. Such a person was the top genius in the Eastern Wilderness. Thinking about it, even the people from the clan of the ancients and the peerless sacred grounds were not as good as Hong Yu. In fact, not only the participating disciples, but even the elders of the three major sects were also shocked. To be honest, the strange eye technique made their hair stand on end. Even though they were all elders and had a wealth of experience, when faced with such a strange eye technique, they were afraid that they would not be able to do anything. When did the Spirit Void sect find such a powerful disciple? In an instant, Danzong and the elders of the Purple Sun sect asked one after another. On the high platform, the red-robed middle-aged man was also shocked. His eyes were like lightning as he stared down. Golden eyes? What kind of eye technique is that? I've never heard of it. Chapter 1670. As a martial artist of the Alcade Holy Land, he was experienced and knowledgeable, but he did not recognize those golden eyes either. What in the world were they? Was it some kind of powerful cultivation method? Or bloodline power? He did not know, but he already decided to report to the sect. Such a genius, coupled with such an ocular art, was very likely to enter the Alcade Holy Land. I didn't expect that quite a few dark horses actually appeared in the selection competition this time. The red-robed man looked at Hong Yu, then looked at Lin Xian. One's ocular art was powerful. The other's combat power was super strong. Such people are all peerless geniuses and should enter my Alcade Holy Land. The middle-aged man looked at Lin Xian and Hong Yu as if discovering two pieces of precious jade. Following that, the competition continued. During this process, there were a few people who displayed great strength and successfully counterattacked, defeating the veteran disciples. It made the entire valley abnormally lively. However, compared to the shock, it was far less than Hong Yu and Mu Feng's battle. Although that battle was short, the commotion it caused had not subsided until now. Gradually, most people already exchanged blows with each other. Of course, there were wins and losses among them, but there were not many who maintained a complete victory all the time. Among them, one of the three great prodigies maintained a complete victory. And apart from this, Only the third ring's Lin Xian and the second ring's Hong Yu could maintain a complete victory. Even the first ring's Chu Yu, although possessing an innate spirit fire, was still defeated at Ding Peng's hands. Hence, for a moment, Lin Xian and Hong Yu received even more attention. But at this time on the third ring, the referee's voice sounded out. Next battle, Lin Xian versus Dan Feng. Lin Xian versus Dan Feng. This news was like a bomb, blowing everyone up. After a brief silence, the crowd erupted with torrent-like exclamations. They finally met. The two of them finally met. Both people were in the third ring. Both had eye-catching performances. So the two people would meet sooner or later. Everyone was extremely excited. One was a newly risen dark horse, unparalleled combat power, and had not been defeated until now. The other was Danzong's personal eldest disciple, one of the three great prodigies. One could say that he was one of the top 3 people. Similarly, he had not had any defeats. Now, the two of them had finally met. Not only was this an exciting battle, but it was also a battle between old and new geniuses. Would the dark horse win, or would the veteran genius win? Everyone was looking forward to it. However, to be honest, even though Lin Xian's performance was outstanding, he was still a distance away from the top 3 geniuses. Therefore, everyone was only looking forward to the exciting battle, but no one thought that Lin Xian would win. Take a guess. How many moves do you think Dan Feng will win this battle? My guess is 100 moves. Isn't 100 moves too little? Lin Xian's battle prowess is so strong. Why would he need more than 200 moves? What a joke! The Red Phoenix is one of the 3 great prodigies. Other than Xiao Cheng and Ding Peng who can contend against her, who else can be her match? 100 moves is already quite a lot. Indeed, but I feel that it will take around 150 moves for Lin Xian to be defeated. Everyone was discussing animatedly and the atmosphere was very lively. In the crowd, Chao Yun's expression was ferocious. He had once lost to Lin Xian. Now he naturally did not wish for the other party to be in the limelight. Therefore he snorted coldly and said, "What 100 moves? 200 moves? What kind of figure is eldest senior sister Dan Feng? How can she possibly be compared to that brat? Just watch. Within 50 moves, that brat, surnamed Lin, will definitely be defeated." Not only was the discussion in the third ring intense, at this moment, even the martial artists in the first and second rings all looked over. This battle could be said to be highly anticipated by everyone. Ding Peng and Xiao Cheng were also paying close attention. In the crowd, Chu Yu clenched her small hands nervously. "Lin Xian, you have to hold on a little longer." On the other side, Hong Yu's eyes also flickered. I didn't expect that among the newcomers this time, there's still a dark horse who can be equally famous as me. It's just that I don't know how far you can go. Make sure not to disappoint me. Lin Xian's battle prowess similarly shocked Hong Yu. Therefore, he also very much wanted to fight with the other party. In the third ring, the Red Phoenix wore a 5-colored pale robe, her entire person exuding a noble temperament. Like a queen, she came to the ring. Lin Xian's expression was calm, and his face was incomparably calm. His figure swayed, and he also went to the ring. Senior Sister Dan Feng. Lin Xian cupped his hands slightly. After all, the Red Phoenix was the eldest senior sister of Danzong, and he was only a core disciple in Danzong Middle School. Therefore, it was necessary to be polite when meeting each other. "Junior brother Lin, don't be so polite." The Red Phoenix nodded slightly. To be honest, junior brother Lin's strength and current results have indeed shocked me greatly. I didn't expect that there would be such a genius in Danzong. However, I won't go easy on you in this battle. You have to fight with all your strength. Let me see what level your true strength has reached. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. Then his eyes focused, and the aura on his body suddenly became sharp. It was as if a peerless divine sword was slowly being unsheathed. Buzz! The void also trembled as if it was frozen. The surrounding disciples tensed up, and there was a flash of sword light in their hearts. What a terrifying sword principal aura! Everyone was shocked. Just one look from the other party was enough to make them tremble. What a sharp aura! On the opposite side, the Red Phoenix also nodded slightly. Then she shouted, and 5 colored flames quickly appeared around her. They circled around her. In the next moment, a flaming palm surged out and quickly slapped forward. Terrifying heat waves surrounded the area, and the entire void was filled with white smoke. It was as if it was going to be turned into ashes by this palm. How terrifying! This palm was too terrifying. No 5-star king would be able to withstand it. The surrounding people's scalps went numb, and they quickly retreated. Although the arena was protected by an array, the aura that overflowed still shocked them. Good. Lin Xian also nodded slightly. Then he used his fingers like a sword and quickly slashed out. The sword Qi was like a dragon roaring out. It connected together and charged forward quickly. In the next moment, the two collided and an extremely dazzling light burst out. The terrifying energy directly exploded the void. In an instant, the entire arena shook violently as if it couldn't withstand the force. Oh no, the arena is going to be destroyed. Run. The surrounding people turned pale and they retreated again. At this moment, 4 men in black appeared out of thin air around the third arena. They were wearing black armor and looked extremely cold. As soon as the 4 of them appeared, they quickly formed seals and sent out mysterious runes into the array below. Suddenly, the array shone brightly, and the third arena became extremely sturdy again. Seeing this scene, the crowd also heaved a sigh of relief. How terrifying! A casual attack from the 2 of them caused such a terrifying impact. The entire arena almost exploded. Yeah, nothing like this has ever happened before. This array came from the Yaoguang sacred ground, and it can't withstand the power of the 2 of them. It's unbelievable. The crowd was extremely shocked. From this point alone, they could see how terrifying Lin Xian and the Red Phoenix's strength was. Chapter 16, 71. Everyone was shocked. From this point alone, it could be seen how terrifying Lin Xian and Dan Feng's strength were. Dan Feng frowned slightly when she saw the arena shaking. However, she heaved a sigh of relief when she saw the entire array was strengthened again. Junior brother Lin, you have to be careful from now on. I won't show you any mercy. As she spoke, the light on her body surged. In an instant, a shocking energy fluctuation erupted from Dan Feng's body. It was as if an ancient fire god had descended to the mortal world. If it was before, Lin Xian would probably have to go all out to deal with such a situation. However, he had already broken through to become a 3-star king. His strength had undergone a drastic change. Therefore, he could deal with it easily now. Feeling the other party's explosive power, Lin Xian also let out a long roar. Countless sword qi rushed out quickly, and his aura also rose abruptly. Kill! Lin Xian took the lead. With a wave of his arm, a sharp sword light slashed forward like lightning. It was too fast, so fast that no one could react. On the opposite side, Dan Feng's pupils shrank. She did not expect the other party's swordsmanship to be so sharp. Therefore, she tapped her foot, and her body flashed out instantly like a fiery shadow. At the same time, she formed a seal with her palms and quickly performed a unique skill. A fire qilin roared out. Its body was like a small mountain, and the scales on it were shining. The flames flickered as if it was a real divine beast. As soon as the fire qilin appeared, the entire void collapsed instantly, and a powerful aura swept out in all directions. This is the fire qilin mark. I didn't expect Dan Feng to perform a unique skill right away. It seems like she won't give Lin Xian a chance at all. It can't be helped. This is the Holy Land selections. No matter how good their relationship is, I'm afraid she won't go easy on him now. Moreover, the two of them don't have much interaction at all. Everyone exclaimed. Without a doubt, the fire Qilin mark was a very terrifying, unique skill. Sure enough, the fire Qilin roared in all directions, and with 5 colored flames, it directly blew away all the sword qi in front of it. What a strong flame aura. It seems that the other party also has a unique flame. Lin Xian was slightly surprised, but he was not too worried, because he had only used 30% of his strength in that strike. He did not wish to reveal all of his strength. Thus, he had concealed his strength. Not bad, not bad. Lin Xian nodded slightly, then stretched out his palm. Suddenly, boundless black flames condensed and formed a huge dragon claw that grabbed forward. What followed was an earth-shattering dragon roar. Boom! The two collided, causing a huge explosion. The two flames clashed in the air, and terrifying energy swept out in all directions. Fortunately, the defensive array formation had been strengthened a lot. Otherwise, the attack would have definitely shattered the entire array formation like the previous one. Lin Xian's dragon claw was incomparably terrifying, and the 9 underworld devil flame was also extremely powerful. Therefore, under this claw, the fire Qilin was directly smashed into pieces. Immediately, the 5 colored flames scattered and drifted in all directions. What? The fire Qilin was smashed to pieces. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian's methods to be so powerful. Lin Xian's strength is too terrifying. Yeah, it's really surprising that he could break Dan Feng's unique skill. However, someone snorted. What do you know? This is just the beginning. Dan Feng probably did not use his full strength at all. Just wait and see. This kid is definitely going to lose. Sounds of discussion could be heard. In the arena, Dan Feng frowned slightly. She did not expect that the opponent's dragon claw would be so powerful that it could smash her fire Qilin. However, although she was frowning, she did not care much, because, as everyone had said, she did not use her full strength. Instead, she used 50% of her strength. Thinking about it, Dan Feng must have used his full strength to smash her attack with the black dragon claw, which was at least 90% of his strength. Thinking of this, the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. She was ready to go all out and not give Dan Feng a chance. Junior brother Lin, I have to say that you are indeed surprising, but next you won't have any chance. This battle can end now. As Dan Feng's voice was heard, the surrounding flames suddenly surged. Then they quickly intertwined in the air, forming a flame picture scroll. This flame picture scroll kept rolling and shaking in the air. In the end, it enveloped the entire arena. It's out! It's Dan Feng's king domain! Everyone exclaimed. Indeed, the space formed by the picture scroll was Dan Feng's king domain. Fire beacon map of mountains and rivers. This was an extremely terrifying domain. Ordinary 5-star kings could not withstand a single move from the fire beacon map of mountains and rivers at all. And Dan Feng merged into the picture scroll. Her entire person was like a flame fairy. The fire beacon map of mountains and rivers covered heaven and earth as if it was going to refine the entire space. Dan Feng stood in the void and waved her hand. Suddenly, the fire beacon map of mountains and rivers spun rapidly, forming a huge suction force that enveloped Lin Xian. It was as if it was going to devour him. Buzz! In an instant, Lin Xian was sucked into a sea of fire. 5-colored light shone, and all kinds of strange flames rushed toward him quickly. The raging flames could burn everything in the world. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Clenching his fist, countless flames formed a black long sword that then swept out. The pitch-black sword light swept across heaven and earth, carrying a sharp aura as it charged toward the surrounding sea of fire. At this moment, Lin Xian also increased his combat strength, reaching about 50% of his strength. The sword qi was extremely terrifying. It directly tore apart the sea of fire, forming cracks. Whoosh! Lin Xian used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and retreated from these cracks. Senior sister is indeed amazing. The king domain formed by the fire beacon map of mountains and rivers is indeed terrifying. Lin Xian said indifferently. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were extremely frightened. At this moment, even Ding Peng and Xiao Qing frowned. Dan Feng was even more shocked. She did not expect him to come out so easily. It was really out of her expectations. Looks like I've underestimated you. Dan Feng's face was as cold as ice. Up until now, the other party had given her too many surprises, causing her to be a little out of control. Therefore, she could not let him continue to be arrogant. In the next moment, she waved her hand. Immediately, the 5 colored flames in the sky surged rapidly, forming fire phoenixes in the air and charging downward. Each of them was like a real monster, incomparably terrifying. Lin Xian also attacked fiercely. He held the black flame long sword in his hand and quickly slashed forward. The sword qi was like a black fire dragon. The divine dragon swung its tail, instantly causing the entire void to collapse. The black dragon and the fire phoenix fought, and terrifying energy erupted. Lin Xian also used the dragon sword domain to surround him. He used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and quickly dodged. Chapter 1672. On the other side, the Red Phoenix's expression was solemn, waving her jade-like hands nonstop. Lin Xian's attack power was seriously too terrifying. The dragon-beating sword soul was incomparably powerful, far exceeding the Red Phoenix's expectations. So very soon, that black dragon directly charged to Red Phoenix's side. Baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, the black flames all over its body trembled, just like a real demonic beast, full of a terrifying aura. Roar! With a dragon roar, the black dragon claw quickly grabbed towards the Red Phoenix. Humph! The Red Phoenix's body retreated, completely merging into the fire beacon river and mountain painting. Following that, the 5 colored flames around her fluttered rapidly, forming a 5 colored flame battle armor in front of her. Not just that, a 5 colored long whip even appeared in her hand, completely condensed by flames. A whip lashed out, the terrifying power tore the sky apart. Bang! 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 The long whip similarly turned into a flood dragon, and the black dragon battled together. Lin Xian and the Red Phoenix attacked nonstop, each attack incomparably terrifying. But the surrounding people were crying out in surprise. They did not expect that this battle would actually be so exciting, far exceeding their expectations. Heaven, this Lin Xian is too powerful. Fighting until now, there are no signs of defeat. More than that, why do I feel that the two are evenly matched? Yeah, could it be that the Red Phoenix still held back strength and did not go all out? One discussion after another sounded out. Everyone's voices were full of shock. In the second arena, Hong Yu's gaze flickered, staring fixedly at this battle. In his eyes, golden light bloomed, incomparably mysterious. By the side, Huan Ling's siblings also had solemn expressions. Very clearly, regardless of whether it was the Red Phoenix or Lin Xian's combat power, it made them feel thick pressure. While Ding Peng and Xiao Cheng's expressions were even more solemn. Others might not be able to tell, but the two of them knew. Most likely, the Red Phoenix already went all out, but she still could not do anything to the other party. This seriously surprised them too much. Who is this kid to actually have such combat power, fighting on par with Red Phoenix. Xiao Qing was extremely shocked, but Ding Peng's expression was gloomy. No idea why, when he looked at this battle, he suddenly thought of that mysterious Demon King. As the Purple Sun sect's eldest personal disciple, he had never been defeated. But not long ago, Immortal was defeated at the hands of a mysterious Demon King. Until now, he still didn't know who the other party was. Moreover, after that battle, the other party seemed to have disappeared into thin air and never appeared again. Ding Peng even suspected that the mysterious Demon King wasn't a disciple of the three sections. Perhaps a mysterious expert had sneaked in. But now, seeing Dan Feng and Lin Xian's match, he was extremely shocked in his heart, because he felt that the young man called Lin Xian was too suspicious. Back then, in the first stage, the other party was acting alone. At that time, he didn't care. He thought that the other party's cultivation was low. It was impossible for him to possess that kind of combat strength. But now it seemed. The other party's battle prowess was indeed heaven-defying. In fact, he could even be on par with them. This made him even more suspicious. He was alone, and his battle prowess was heaven-defying. It was very likely that he was the mysterious Demon King. However, he wasn't very sure. That was because the Demon King from that day did not use sword techniques. Furthermore, he did not have the aura of the sword Dao. Instead, he displayed an extremely violent and destructive fist technique. However, although this Lin Xian in front of him was powerful, he did not have that kind of destructive aura. Instead, he had an extremely sharp sword Dao aura. Obviously, these were two completely different cultivation methods. It was hard for him to imagine that a martial artist could cultivate both the sword Dao and the fist technique to such a terrifying realm at the same time. Therefore, he was still only suspicious and could not be sure. However, his gaze was as sharp as the edge of a blade. He was waiting. As long as Lin Xian displayed any signs of the destructive fist technique, he would be able to confirm whether the other party was the mysterious Demon King or not. In the arena, Dan Feng's expression was also solemn. Up until now, she was more and more shocked in her heart. The other party's strength was like a bottomless pit. There was no limit to it at all. She didn't even know how much the other party's true battle prowess was. She even suspected that the other party had not even used his full strength. If it was before, she would definitely think that this idea was laughable. But now, after fighting with Lin Xian, she realized that this young man in front of her was absolutely terrifying. However, as one of the three great prodigies, she would not admit defeat so easily. Therefore, she waved her jade-like hand again. Immediately, the flame whip in her hand turned from a fire dragon into a 5-colored divine bird. Divine light bloomed. Its cry shook heaven and earth. Like a 5-colored peacock, divine light flickered as it swooped down. But Lin Xian's expression was calm. He waved the black, long sword in his hand. The sword light gently slid. Countless sword energy gushed out. It was as if streaks of black underworld rivers were crisscrossing in front. That 5-colored peacock could not get close at all. But above, Dan Feng cried out delicately. The aura on her body suddenly bloomed. It was as if a 5-colored sun was shining in all directions. At this moment, Dan Feng was powerful to the extreme. The surrounding fire, beacon river, and mountain painting was even more incomparably terrifying. From the endless volcanoes, a majestic figure walked out. Standing indomitable, firelight surrounded him as if a fire god had descended. That figure was like a flame giant, walking forward as if crossing through time and space. It was hard to believe. With every step he took, the sky trembled a fraction. With every step he took, the flame aura on his body rose by a large margin. When he arrived in front of Lin Xian, the entire void completely collapsed. A terrifying aura swept across heaven and earth. This flame giant was like a true god. Firelight surrounded him all over. It was terrifying to the extreme. Lin Xian even felt a trace of danger. He did not expect that this fire beacon river and mountain painting was actually so mysterious. It could summon such a terrifying giant. However, he was not afraid of the other party. Waving the black longsword in his hand, Lin Xian launched an intense battle with that flame giant. The arena shook, heaven and earth rumbled. If not for the Holy Land's array formation, the entire valley would have sunk in an instant. However, even with that being the case, the frightening energy still caused the entire mountain range to tremble nonstop. Everyone held their breaths, paying close attention. Such a battle was rarely seen normally. Lin Xian waved his long sword. Each sword energy was like 1,000 feet long dragon, quickly gushing out and roaring in front. Terrifying sword light rushed into the clouds. The red phoenix, on the other hand, was controlling the flame giant, sweeping through all directions. This kind of attack was very berserk, having a feeling of destroying heaven and earth. It was completely different from Dan Feng's identity as a woman. But at this moment, when it was executed, no one felt that it was abrupt. The intense collision was like the sound of thunder. Each strike made the void distort, and even countless cracks appeared. In this energy storm, even if a 5-star king entered, his body and soul would also be destroyed. Lin Xian still only used half of his strength and did not use his full strength. Chapter 1673. Firstly, he did not want to expose his full strength in front of everyone. Secondly, he still had to be wary of Dan Qinzi and Danzong. He always felt that something terrifying would happen in the Holy Land selection competition. Therefore, it was better for him to hide his strength. Moreover, Lin Xian discovered that he used half of his strength, which was enough to end this battle. Of course, the crowd did not know this at all. Everyone thought that Lin Xian unleashed his full strength, even exceeding his usual performance, to be able to contend with Dan Feng. No one knew what kind of expression they would have when they knew the truth. Boom! The sword chi was like a rainbow, emitting a terrifying killing intent. It directly penetrated the sea of fire that filled the sky and charged toward the flame giant. Even that swift and fierce sword light left countless sword scars on the flame giant's body. Although Dan Feng was not swept by these sword chi, that overflowing sword Dao aura also made her feel pain all over. If this kind of power slashed on her body, she probably could not withstand it at all. Fire God Fist! Dan Feng cried out delicately, throwing out an incomparably terrifying fist in coordination with the flame giant. Fiery light surged to the sky, turning heaven and earth upside down. This fist was like a red volcano, directly descending from the sky, suppressing ruthlessly. Boom! That fist passed through countless sword chi and arrived in front of Lin Xian, about to land. But Lin Xian's expression was calm, still fearless. He waved his palm, countless streaks of sword chi gushed out, like seawater, incomparably soft, forming a scissor-light curtain. Clear mirror still water. This fist seemed to have landed in the sea. The terrifying power was instantly dissolved by the soft sword chi. What an exquisite defense! The surrounding people were shocked, especially Ding Peng, Xiao Cheng, and the rest, who even exclaimed repeatedly, "Combining hardness and softness, this kid's sword art has reached an unbelievable level." Even the elders of the 3 major sects around were also extremely shocked. Too much hardness made it easy to break. Too much softness made the attack power appear insufficient. Only combining hardness and softness was the best state. However, very few people could reach this state. Even they, the elders, might not be able to reach it. However, a young man in his 20s actually reached this realm. One had to admit that it was really too shocking. The two people's great battle, the momentum astonishing. Lin Xian was like an incomparably sharp sword, full of vigor and vigor. Every ray of sword chi was incomparably valiant, as if they were going to tear the sky apart. As for Danfeng, he was like a god of fire, becoming one with the fire beacon river and mountain painting, becoming a sea of fire, incomparably terrifying. As the two of them exchanged blows, each of their attacks tore through the sky. Finally, the Red Phoenix could not hold back anymore. She looked extremely anxious. She didn't expect the other party to be so terrifying. Therefore, she shouted and waved her hand. Immediately, a red mountain appeared in the fire beacon diagram. Light flashed and flames overflowed into the sky, pressing down on Lin Xian. Before the red volcano even arrived, the entire void had already collapsed. The terrifying power caused everyone's expression to change. Lin Xian snorted coldly and swept out with his sword. Instantly, a crescent-shaped sword chi shot forward like a cold moonlight. As the two collided, the sword chi and the sea of fire surged, and the terrifying black hole flickered in the sky. However, at that moment, the Red Phoenix unleashed all of her power and prepared to end the battle. The fire beacon diagram trembled rapidly, as if it was a world of fire, incomparably terrifying. That scene was as if the Red Phoenix was holding a real world in her hand and smashing it fiercely toward Lin Xian. Kill! Lin Xian also roared angrily. A ray of sword light was swung out. It was incomparably simple and filled with a sharp aura. It wasn't big, only a few meters long, but it contained supreme killing intent, as if it was a heavenly blade, extremely terrifying. Boom! In the next moment, this ray of sword light slashed fiercely on the sea of fire and even tore the sea of fire apart, arriving at the fire beacon diagram. Boom, boom, boom. The sword chi was like a dragon, directly slashing those volcanoes in the fire beacon diagram. Damn it! Dan Feng's expression changed. She didn't expect the other party to be able to destroy her fire beacon diagram. This was her king's domain. The destruction of those volcanoes also caused her to suffer a certain degree of injury. Descent of the fire god. At the critical moment, the Red Phoenix used her ultimate skill. Instantly, a huge fist descended from the sky in the fire beacon diagram. It was as if it had crossed through time and space. This punch was earth-shattering. Waves of fire surged into the sky as if the real fire god was reborn. The surrounding people exclaimed. As expected of one of the three great prodigies, such combat strength was absolutely terrifying. Lin Xian's expression was calm without any fear. He also quickly waved the long sword in his hand and stabbed out. The terrifying sword light illuminated the entire valley. At the same time, he finally used the dragon sword domain. The green dragon sword domain rapidly enlarged. Inside, sword chi rampaged. The power of 10,000 swords. 10,000 rays of sword chi quickly condensed, forming a huge light sword that slashed fiercely upward. Soon, it collided with the flaming fist. An earth-shattering collision sounded. Not only that, the boundless sea of fire seemed to be burning everything. On the other hand, the power of 10,000 swords was extremely terrifying. The sharp sword light could cut through those flames. The confrontation between the two was earth-shattering. However, at this moment, two figures appeared in Lin Xian's dragon sword domain again. One was a red sword god shadow, and the other was an orange sword god shadow. When the two of them appeared, they flew forward with terrifying, killing intent. Light surrounded their bodies as if they were real sword gods, but they were formed by pure sword chi. Not good. Seeing the two light figures flying over, Dan Feng's expression changed drastically. She snorted coldly. The long whip in her hand was like a dragon as it danced quickly, forming a series of fierce attacks in front of her. With a wave of her palm, a sea of fire surrounded the surroundings. No one below the 6-star king level dared to pass the terrifying temperature. However, the two sword god shadows were condensed by Lin Xian's cultivation technique. They contained the aura of the great dragon sword soul and were extremely fierce. In an instant, the sea of fire was cut into two vacuum zones. Buzz! Two light swords appeared in their hands as they quickly attacked Dan Feng. In an instant, they arrived near Dan Feng. "Get lost!" Dan Feng shouted, and the aura on her body suddenly skyrocketed. Like two large flaming hands, she slapped toward the two. The two large flaming hands were extremely red and had mysterious Tao patterns on them. It was like two red mountains crashing forward. Puff! Puff! However, these two sword lights were too sharp. Nothing could block them. The two large palms were cut open in an instant. In the next moment, Dan Feng was enveloped by the two sharp sword lights. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect this to be the result. At this moment, even Ding Peng, Xiao Cheng, Hongyu, and those sect elders all looked at the sky. There, two figures held light swords, pressing against Dan Feng's heart and throat. However, they didn't stab down. Dan Feng didn't resist anymore because the two sharp auras reminded her that as long as she moved slightly, the two long swords would pierce her body without hesitation. She knew that she had lost. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.